college sports fans. Get ready for game day with officially licensed merchandise from the NCAA official online shop, ncaa.com/shop. Get the whole family geared up with the best collection of apparel and accessories, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, headwear, championship gear, and more. Visit the NCAA shop for today's special offer and rep your favorite team now. Only at ncaa.com/shop. This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA consent is prohibited.
We welcome you back to George P. Miller Stadium. Nick Verzolini and Travis Smith here for the Super Region 1 championship game. Shepherd taking on IUP. The Crimson Hawks won the toss, elected to defer, so Shepherd will get the ball first. And what is a now sunny day here in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Travis, let's get some keys to the game. Start with the visitors, the Shepherd Rams, and then move over to the home team, IUP.
Well, like we mentioned, weather could be a factor today. The rain has gone away, but the wind has remained. So it's going to be important that the Shepherd Rams come out determined to run the ball. They have to be balanced today, and no better way than to do that than handing the ball off to Ronnie Brown. Also on the defensive side of the ball, the Rams are going to have to get after the quarterback. IUP has done an excellent job this year protecting their quarterback, not giving up a lot of sacks, and they do that through the play-action pass, a lot of max protect. So if the Rams are able to get through and don't give him a lot of time to take those deep shots to Dwayne Brown, that's going to be to the Rams' advantage. Also, the Rams, they want to maintain their poise today. No silly penalties. Keep those emotions in check. I know there's a lot of going on in today's contest, but you have to be focused on what's going on out there on the field. Don't make the selfish play and draw that big 15-yard penalty that's either going to extend the drive or put your offense into a hole. And then most importantly, I think the defense is going to have to force a turnover today. IUP doesn't give up the ball that much, but that's something that you're going to have to do to try to get your offense an extra possession. And at that point, Tyson Bagent and Ronnie Brown, they can do what they've been doing all year long, and that's put points on the board.
Brown lets the ball go into the end zone for a touchback, so Shepherd will take over on its own 25-yard line. Rams averaging 40 points per game heading into this contest. Shepherd coming in at 12-1. IUP sitting at 10-1. Bagent in the offense out onto the field with a 3-receiver set. And Bagent will look to throw straight drop back. Throws to the far side, complete on the far side to E.J. Morgan for a first down. As it was Morgan, Dorsey, and Alfonso Foray, the starting wide receivers. None of them were the starters at the beginning of the season, Travis. So you see the kind of banged up wide receiver core, but all those guys have shown the ability to make plays.
There is depth and there is talent, and E.J. Morgan had a solid game versus IUP last time they faced off. 3 catches, 22 yards, and a touchdown.
That was his first career touchdown. On 2nd down and 1, Ronnie Brown is stuffed in the backfield.
Looks like Runya Mitchell was the defensive lineman that broke through. The 6'5", 319-pound redshirt senior, named All-PSAC West second team. Quiet last game, 1 tackle, only 2 quarterback hurries, but he's a big boy in the middle, and he eats up a lot of blocks, so he can make plays that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet, but they're certainly huge for that Crimson Hawk defense.
So 3rd and 4 for the Rams. Bagent looking to throw. Throws to Morgan, short of the sticks. Great tackle in space made by what looked like Noah Vaughn or Drew Denizio.
Drew Denunzio Biss.
One of the many talented inside linebackers there. You got Connor Kelly as well.
He's coming off of a big game last week where he had 9 tackles, 6 of those solo versus Ashland. Also had an interception, so a versatile defender on that second level.
Here's Barrick's punt, and it's a line drive, fielded on the run, and running out of bounds there on the far side for IUP on the punt return. Hilton Ridley there on the return for the Crimson Hawks, and that's good field position here, and it's pretty similar situation to what we saw when these two teams met for the PSAC championship. Shepherd goes 3 and out. Only this time, due to that wind, you see Shepherd go for a lower punt, and that results in the ball starting at the 47-yard line after a pretty good return as well for Ridley. It is Adam Hauser to start the game in the backfield, so no DeJour Stort to begin things. First down and 10 from the 47. Sexton hands it off to Hauser, and he is stopped after about a 2 or 3 yard gain by Adam Hauser. Just about one on the play.
That was Lynch in on the tackle for the Rams. And again, IUP, nothing fancy about what they like to do on the offensive side of the ball. You'll see a lot of 20 personnel, a lot of 21 personnel. That's usually 1 or 2 running backs, also a tight end in the game. So they really keep it conservative, and that kind of lends itself to what they've been able to do as far as protecting the quarterback, just because you have extra bodies in the box that can block those defenders trying to get to your quarterback.
Lynch makes the snap, throw quickly to the far side, complete to Ridley, and tackled after a short gain by by Dante Harrison. Harrison playing that corner opposite of Clayton Batten, the freshman. He's made some plays so far this year. It's third down and about 4 with 12:28 to go in this first quarter. Sexton in the gun with Hauser to his right. It's a 4 wide receiver set for IUP.
Clayton Batten matched up on Dwayne Brown.
Here on this near side. Sexton throws to the near side and finds Brown for the first down. In coverage there for Shepard. Appeared to be
It was Batten at the corner, but also the linebacker.
Komayao there getting the start due to Dwayne Grantham going down, and JT Komayao having to fill in that inside linebacker spot, a freshman. But at this point, you're in the 14th game of the season. He's gotten a lot more experience. Kevin Kauser is in there as well on first down and 10 here for IUP. Throw quickly by Sexton, complete over the middle to the tight end. Crimson Hawks moving the rock here. There's Cam Suman, the fullback, getting involved.
Suman, 6'1", 235-pound redshirt senior. Like we mentioned, IUP likes to keep a lot of heavy sets out there. They play a physical brand of football, using those play-action passes. That time looking a little bit more like an RPO, but the way they use it is essentially a play-action pass.
Sexton now under center. Hauser the back behind him. Send Brown in motion. They'll go Hauser off the right side. There's a big hole. Adam Hauser down to the 20-yard line before he's tripped up by Shepherd's Amari Terry.
Again, Suman making another play, this time without the ball in his hands. A wicked wham block that time by Suman, working across that line of scrimmage. Very similar to a trap play, but instead of a guard pulling and kicking that defender out, Suman works across the formation and kicks him out, and Hauser was able to cut it inside and get up to the second level and pick up a big chunk on first down.
2nd and 2 from the 21. Smith goes in motion. Here's Hauser off the right side, trying to get to the edge, close to the sticks. Clayton Batten makes the tackle, just short of the first down marker. So it'll be third down and about 1 for IUP at the 20-yard line. 10:25 to go in this opening quarter. No score between the two teams. Here in the Super Region 1 championship game. Winner of this heads to the semifinals, where we'll see the reseeding. Sexton will line up under center. Brown is the wide receiver to the far side. Is 2 tight ends set for IUP. Suman now moves into the backfield. They'll hand it off to Hauser off the left side. I believe he's going to get that first down. Devin Lynch and Emilio Pena coming up to make that tackle for Shepherd. It looked like for a second Pena had a chance to get him in the backfield, but Hauser with a good read on the hole, and he was able to slip by for the IUP first down to move the ball now into the red zone as the Crimson Hawks look to take over from their own 47 and get this one into the end zone, Travis, on this opening drive.
Again, just a very methodical approach. They want to keep ahead of the chains, and if they do have to throw, it's when they want to throw, not when the defense dictates it, because that's when that Rams defense becomes particularly dangerous in those certain passing situations.
Hauser cuts it up, doesn't find much room here off the edge. Matt Bednarski coming up to make the tackle for Shepherd. It'll be second down and 10. No gain on the play.
Bednarski, 6'2", 270-pound redshirt sophomore, part of some of those young defensive linemen that the Rams are starting to work in as they're transitioning to bigger guys in the box. In years past, they chose to go undersized using speed and athleticism, but now they realize that they're going to be going against teams that like to ground and pound, so you're going to have the big bodies up front to account for that type of offensive attack.
2nd down and 10. Here's play action for Sexton. He'll throw back toward the middle of the field for a wide open tight end and a touchdown IUP. It's Cole Langley, who scored in the previous game between Shepherd and IUP in the PSAC championship. There, just wide open over the middle. Good play action from Max Sexton. And then he found Laney for 6, and IUP takes the early 6-0 lead with 8:35 to go in the opening quarter.
And again, when you're able to run the ball like that, it's going to set up your play-action pass, and that's going to be one of the keys today for IUP is capitalize on those play-action passes. And Max Sexton just did a good job waiting just enough for his tight end to get clear and threw a strike over the middle.
Extra point is up and good, so it's IUP 7, Shepherd nothing. 8:35 to go in the opening quarter. Let's take a 30-second break. This is Shepherd Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
You back to George P. Miller Stadium. 7-0 IUP leads Shepherd. 8:35 to go in this opening quarter. Nick Verzolini alongside me is Travis Smith. Colin McLaughlin is our on-site producer, along with Braden Schaffner and Dylan Bishop on camera. And back in the studio is Spencer Dupuis. You'll hear from Spencer at the half. So the game starting very similarly to the last game between these two teams in the PSAC championship. Shepherd goes 3 and out, and IUP responds with a touchdown drive as the ball rolls off the tee, as the wind is supposed to be about 15 to 20 miles per hour here today, and it is quite windy down there on the field.
You can see the flag standing at full attention. Again, the ball rolls off the tee.
So now you'll have a holder.
Yep. That seems to me that takes a little bit of bravery to get up there. You got a guy that's getting a 5-6 yard head of steam and coming up there to kick the ball.
Ronnie Brown and Alfonso Foray standing in the end zone for Shepherd on the return. Yeah, a little bit different than holding a field goal. As the kick goes into the end zone again, so IUP making certain that it does not let the all-purpose leader in the nation get the ball on kickoffs, because as we know, Travis, he's been very dangerous, not only on offense, but in the special teams game.
Absolutely. He's had a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So he's a player, no matter where he's at on the field, has potential to do something special for you. And right now, this Rams offense getting the ball with good field position, but they are going into the wind. So that's going to affect some of the things that they like to do through the air. And again, it's going to be important that the Rams have a balanced attack today to pull out the win.
Bajan looking to throw on 1st down and 10. It'll roll to the right, pump a few times, bring the ball down, and then throw it away. Tyson Bajan was facing some pressure from what looked like Runya Mitchell, along with a few others there on the IUP defense. I don't really know how he got away, did Bajan, from Von Wallace, who was right in his face.
It was unusual the way IUP played Tyson Bajan last time, because they kind of played him like he's a scrambling quarterback, where they really weren't trying to blitz or do a lot of stunts. They just want to try to keep him contained in the pocket, play coverage, and keep everything in front of him.
Ronnie Brown here on the carry. Solid pickup before he's tackled on the play by D'Annunzio Biss again.
D'Annunzio Biss
making the tackle. And it's interesting that you mentioned that about Bajan being not a running quarterback, but he is very mobile. And when putting together his highlight package for the Harlan Hill Trophy presentation, I was going back and I saw several plays where he was fighting off defenders and then looking downfield to extend his plays. So while you don't think of him as a runner, he does have a good scrambling ability in the pocket. Bajent here on third down, steps up in the pocket, throws to a wide open E.J. Morgan.
Dorsey.
I need Dorsey. Dorsey in stride, and he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Shepherd.
Miscommunication on the back end that time by IUP. And again, Dorsey through the wind and getting the ball to a wide open Dorsey.
So Dorsey all of a sudden just opened up, and Bajent hit him, and pretty much there was a foot race. And with Dorsey being a punt returner, nobody was going to catch him on that play. So Jacob Haney on for the extra point to tie this one up at 7 with 7:33 to go in the first quarter.
And again, he's kicking into the wind, pretty much the open end of the stadium, so this extra point is certainly not a gimme.
Haney's extra point is good. So the game tied at 7 with 7:33 to go in the opening quarter. Let's take a 30-second break. This is Shepherd Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube. We welcome you back to George P. Miller Stadium. Nick Verzolini alongside me is Travis Smith. Tied at 7 between Shepherd and IUP. 7:33 to go, and the ball falls off the tee. Might just have to make this a hold kind of day.
That wind is not dying down, so that may be the case. And it's going to take a little bit of distance off of your kick. So, again, IUP looking to get the ball back. Pretty good field position. As the Rams are kicking into the wind yet again.
Rodney Dorsey with the big touchdown reception.
And those were the big plays that they didn't get during the PSAC championship.
Really
game.
haven't gotten those all year.
Yeah.
And there it goes. I think both teams should just hold it to begin the kickoff because it's just not going to go today.
Yeah. And again, that takes a little courage to get up there and hold that football down. That kicker's off just a little bit. That's shin and fingers just gone.
It's like Ofori will hold.
Yeah. I want to scoot back a little further. Give him some room.
The kick from Haney is on the ground, bounces it around the 35-yard line. Not really what you wanted here. This was turned all the way out to about the 47 again, 48. Great field position once again for IUP.
Things getting a little chippy down there in the pile. And again, the holder, right as the kicker was approaching, pulled his hand back a little bit, so it looked like the ball may have been falling off of the tee as the kicker made contact. And certainly affected what the kicker wanted to do with the ball. I realize that they don't want to kick it back deep. IUP does have a lot of talent and speed on the back end, so you don't want to give those playmakers a chance to go out there and do something special. So you want to keep it on the ground to limit those returns, but you certainly don't want to give IUP great field position like this, the way they've been able to methodically move the ball so far today.
First down and 10 here from the 48-yard line. Here's a toss play with Hauser running off the edge, and JT Comingal comes over to make the tackle around midfield. Comingal playing for the injured Dwayne Grantham, who Shepherd obviously is going to miss. I mean, he's their inside linebacker. He's kind of been that Chris Lane role for the Rams, and not having Grantham in this game is a big hole in the defense, but coming out a freshman that Shepherd was excited about when they brought him in, and we'll see if he can make plays like that throughout this ball game. 3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7 for IUP. Sexton takes the snap. They'll go Hauser again, and this time not as much room. Shepherd able to stack it up. Look like Nathan Muley in there along with Matt Bednarski.
And IUP just trying to get some of the defenders out of the box, going to a 4 wide receiver set, seeing if they can pull one of those linebackers out. But the Rams, again, very stout in the box. You try to attack them with anything other than power, they're going to make you pay, because that Rams defense is built for speed, built for athleticism. So if you try to attack them with that zone look, they are very tough in that scenario.
2-yard gain on the play brings up 3rd down and 5 for IUP. Sexton looking to throw. Throws to the far side, a bouncer incomplete, intended for Dwayne Brown. Good coverage on the play from Clayton Batten. It'll be 4th down, and IUP has a decision to make, but it looks like they're going to bring on the punt unit.
And Kauser getting some pressure that time on the quarterback. Looked like he may have got a hand on that ball to try to disrupt the trajectory of the ball going towards the sidelines. And again, the punt team coming out, but this is playoff football, so you have to be ready for any type of fake.
It's true, and you're in this situation where if you wouldn't get it, it's not terrible to turn it over here. I mean, you would turn it over around midfield, but IUP will punt, and it's a high kick. Rodney Dorsey will fair catch, let it roll into the end zone for a touchback. So Shepherd kind of wins the field position there as you get the best case scenario, I think.
Very heady play that time by Dorsey, showing that he's going to field the ball that's going to make those defenders slow up just a bit. And as the ball approaches, he steps up, lets the ball go behind him, go into the end zone. So very heady play that time by Dorsey to give his offense a little bit more breathing room to start this drive.
1st down and 10, 5:55 to go in this opening quarter. Shepherd and IUP tied at 7. Bajan in the shotgun formation with a new back in the backfield to his left. I believe that's Avon Holly, and it is. Bajan looking to throw here over the middle, complete to Alfonso Foray, out toward the 27, 28-yard line before he's brought down on the play by IUP's Jaheim Howard. Howard had a good game last time these two teams met. 5.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Shepherd faced now with a 2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard pickup on the completion of Foray. Haven't seen either Marlon Cook or Ryan Beach so far today, so we knew they were dealing with injuries, and it doesn't look like, at least early on, that they're going to get a ton of play time. Bajan throws complete to Dorsey after the fumbled snap, and now several flags come flying in. A Ram is also down at around the 30-yard line.
It looks like Morgan is the injured Ram, and I believe Joey Fisher may be the guilty party of the holding penalty. Again, mishandled snap by Bajan, and just offensive linemen, just their natural instinct to protect their quarterback, try to hold on to his block just a little bit too long, and got a couple penalty flags on the field. So not sure if they're all on that holding penalty in the backfield.
They call holding against Morgan. And there's Fisher. So you hate to see this. Hopefully this is just a cramp for E.J. Morgan. He's a guy that's already battled through 2 torn Achilles in his career, and he's just now starting to make a really big impact for Shepherd over the past few games. As I mentioned earlier, scored his first career touchdown against IUP in this PSAC championship. Right now it does look like they are stretching him out, so I think that is a good sign if that is the case, but it's hard for me to initially tell from how far away we are if they're stretching him out or if they're just kind of looking at the knee. I can't really tell.
I think they're looking at the knee. Usually they'll go over there and give it a shake, see if it's a loose, or now he's bending it, see if it's going to catch. So got rolled up in that pile over there. They're trying to do the wide receiver screen, and that's always a danger because you're trained when you're blocking not to look behind you. So whenever a ball carrier gets stacked up and they roll into the back of your legs, you're really defenseless and trying to avoid injuries like that. But able to stand up on his own power.
But it looks like he will need some help to get to the sideline.
And again, this is already a wide receiver core that's missing two of their top guys in the rotation.
Yeah, and Morgan's been kind of that guy. He does kind of hobble off with a little bit of help from the training staff. But here the Rams are backed up now. 2nd down and 12 after the penalty. Bajan in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Dorsey in the slot. He had the touchdown pass earlier. Bajan looking to throw. Avoids some sacks and now is brought down after a short gain on the play. Coming up and making the tackle for IUP was Jay Holmes.
Jay Holmes is a player that had an outstanding game last time they faced off against the Rams. Had 6 tackles, 4 of those solo. And again, this IUP just collapsed the pocket, and as Tyson Bajan stepped up into the pocket trying to avoid the pressure, Holmes was able to come in and clean it up. So again, the IUP defense is doing a good job of keeping Tyson Bajan in the pocket and not letting him extend plays with his athleticism.
3-yard gain on the play, 3rd down and 9. Bajan throws back shoulder from Alfonso Foray, and it is incomplete. Shepard will be forced to punt. Coverage on the play there for IUP by Joey Tortoletto.
And again, once you start getting further and further down in that depth chart, not saying so much that there's a huge drop-off in talent, but what you're going to have a drop-off in is in chemistry. Right. And when you're trying to throw those back shoulder fades like that, it's going to be hard to get that timing right, especially, again, when you're throwing into the wind.
Perrick sends a low punt, fielded by Ridley. Ridley makes a guy miss and gets it into Shepard territory to begin this drive. And Nelia Pena making the tackle for the Rams. 4:12 to go in the opening quarter. We're tied at 7 between Shepard and IUP. Nick Verzolini alongside me is Travis Smith. Colin McLaughlin, our on-site producer. On the sidelines is Dylan Bishop, and on our main camera is Braden Schaffner. Spencer Dupuis back in the studio.
And Ridley so far, 2 big catches on the punt returns, and they have been difficult punts to field, but he's caught them in the air, not allowing that ball to get on the ground and giving his team excellent field position for their 3rd possession.
Reverse here for IUP. Get the ball in Dwayne Brown's hands. Brown avoids a tackle.
And Ridley, again, making his presence known. Didn't have the ball, didn't get a block, but did enough just to engage the defender. And that's all you really need on the edge, especially when you have somebody as fast as Dwayne Brown. You just need to slow him down a little bit. Dwayne Brown was able to get to the edge and pick up a big chunk. He moved the chains for the Crimson Hawks.
Brown picks up the 1st down. 1st down and 10 for IUP from the 35-yard line. Adam Hauser is the running back with Brown in the backfield along with Ridley. Play action for Sexton. Sexton wants Dwayne Brown back shoulder and incomplete. Looked like Brown was trying to go deep down the far sideline, but Sexton threw it toward that back side shoulder. Harrison in coverage for Shepard. Will be 2nd down.
And you're seeing IUP being a little bit more adventurous in the passing game. The last time these two faced off, there were a lot of quick throws, getting the ball out quickly. That time, a double move on the sidelines, but it looked like there was some type of option route where if it wasn't going to be open back deep, we're going to throw the comeback towards the sidelines, and just the ball came up a little bit short. That was a tough throw for Sexton, rolling out to his left, his offhand side.
Hand off to Hauser. Muley was there initially, and then a big hit from Pena. Coming up there to make the stop. Malik Holloway cleans it up as well. Bring up a 3rd down here for IUP, 3rd and about 8. Great job by Muley to get that initial push, and he had a huge game last week, Travis. 3 tackles for a loss for Nathan Muley, along with, I believe, 7 total tackles.
Yeah, the redshirt freshman, he's really come on. 7 tackles, 6 of those solo last week, 3 tackles for a loss and a sack. Also had a forced fumble in that ball game. The Jefferson Cougar showing up big for the Rams in the postseason.
Sexton looking to throws and intercepted by Devin Lynch. He tipped it about 1,000 times and finally hauled it in for the interception. Sexton looking to throws and intercepted by Devin Lynch. He tipped the 2nd interception of the season. the converted defensive back comes up huge for Shepherd. You really need a stop, and a turnover is even better than just forcing a fourth down turnover. It just gives you that momentum and no opportunity for any points.
Again, we touched on that as one of our keys during the pregame. The Rams needed to force a turnover, and they desperately needed it on that drive because it looked like IUP was rolling. And again, Lynch showing that awareness in space. That's one of the benefits that you get moving that safety to a linebacker position, that you're going to get somebody that's comfortable in space that's going to be able to make plays on the ball.
They'll run Ronnie, and Brown fights forward for a few before he's tackled on the play.
Looks like Nazir Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor coming up there to make the tackle.
Coming up. IUP doing a good job of jamming up that initial hole, making Ronnie Brown bounce it outside. That's something that Ronnie Brown has matured a bit over the course of the season. Too quick to bounce it outside. Now they're trying to force him to bounce it outside so that defense can rally and come up and make a tackle.
But he got 6 yards on the play. Ronnie Brown now a bigger hole up the middle this time, running hard over that side and tackled on the play by Maurice Fizel. And they'll give him the first down as well. 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. We're tied at 7 between Shepherd and IUP. Tyson Bagent with his running back Ronnie Brown in the backfield. I don't know if I'd ever want Ronnie Brown to bounce it outside personally. With his speed to get to the edge, if I am a defense, I'd rather keep him inside personally. But here's Brown getting a block from Adam Stilley. Great effort by Stilley. That's a tough play for a center to get out there on a DB. He did get there initially, but then making the tackle was Drew Denizio Biss.
This is just classic Shepherd football right here. Using the zone play, the previous play, this time using that pin and pull look up front. The big lineman getting out in front, like we mentioned. They're not big maulers or road graders up front, but what they are is skilled, athletic, and intelligent, and you're able to use those concepts when you have those type of linemen. And that time, Ronnie Brown able to take full advantage getting out on the perimeter.
5-yard pickup, 2nd down and 5. They'll feed Brown again, and this time he is stopped.
Again, Runya Mitchell. I don't know what you can do with a guy like that. 6'5", 319 pounds. The big fella can move. When he's not eating up double teams, he's going to be living in your backfield. So hopefully over the course of the game, if the Rams stick with the run, maybe his motor will start to run a little bit dry. But right now, he's absolutely flexing on that Rams offensive line.
3rd down and 6, about 30 seconds to go before the end of the first quarter. Bagent in the shotgun formation, 7-7 our score between Shepherd and IUP. 3 receivers to the far side, including the tight end Brian Walker. Bagent looks for Walker over the middle. He hauls in the catch. Now lost the football, dives back on top of it. We'll see if they rule that a completion. Now they're going to say it's incomplete. Walker had it initially, then lost it on his way down to the ground. And they're going to rule it incomplete, so that will bring up 4th down. Joey Fisher wants them to keep the punt unit off, but in this situation, you're going to punt.
I appreciate his gusto, but right now you got to play smart. You don't want to dig yourself a hole and get behind the 8 ball this early on in the ball game.
What an effort, though, by Walker to even get that close to being a catch. It would have been a very difficult one. Here's the punt from Ryan Barrett, kind of a wobbly kick into the wind. Bounces down to the 35-yard line. So
when the Rams are punting in that direction,
it's going to be tough.
You can just tell it's just hitting a wall in midair.
Well, luckily the two teams flip sides, and if you're Shepherd, hopefully you don't have to punt the rest of the game and you won't have that problem. But at the end of the first quarter, our score, Shepherd 7, IUP 7. We'll take a 30-second break, and when we return, we'll have more Shepherd Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
We welcome you back to IUP. Shepherd and IUP tied at 7 here in the Super Region 1 championship game. Max Sexton and the Crimson Hawks offense back on the field after throwing an interception on their last drive. See how they're able to respond with Hauser in the backfield here on 1st down and 10. Sexton will hand it off to Adam Hauser. He'll run off that right side, and he doesn't find much room. As Clayton Badden also getting into a nice friendly discussion around midfield with Ridley.
Devin Lynch also getting a big paw in there to bring down the running back.
Injury there for Shepherd. We saw E.J. Morgan go down earlier with an injury. Can't see a number there, but I think it might be Dunbar. Based on the personnel on the field and who appears to be down, but
I believe it is number 0, Solomon Alexander.
I knew it was a big D lineman. I just couldn't tell if it was a 90 for Journey Dunbar or number 0, Solomon Alexander.
And if memory serves, I believe Solomon Alexander got a bit dinged up the last time he was up here going against IUP.
The grad student transferred from Shippensburg, and that is Alexander as he gets helped off the field. But a loss of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 11. So, Travis, no binoculars you're able to identify, though.
I wish I could take all the credit, but my producer here, Colin McLaughlin, and our man down on the sidelines was relaying that information. So
you're supposed to disguise it to the audience.
The theater of radio.
Even though we're on TV.
Yeah.
2nd and 11 for Shepherd, or for IUP here working against Shepherd, I should say. Sexton takes the high snap, now looks to throw, complete over the middle. Big play here for Dwayne Brown. Brown makes a man miss inside the 30. Goes Dwayne Brown all the way down to the 25-yard line. There you see the explosiveness he brings to the game for IUP.
And all he did was just a little head fake juke to the outside, just enough to move Batten outside. He's able to work to that inside shoulder, and once he's able to catch it, does a good job of accelerating after the catch. And again, he shows his veteran leadership because then he looks behind him to see where that pursuit's coming from, and he secures the ball. A lot of times when those guys put the ball on the ground, it's because somebody comes up from behind and punches it out, and Dwayne Brown wasn't going to let that happen on that catch.
Sexton feeds Hauser, and now we're going to probably see a hold. I think it's going to go against Ridley on Keyshawn Haley, who is coming up to lay the boom on the outside.
And the sideline official just throwing a moonshot. He was standing in the end zone when he threw that flag.
Every once in a while, you get the great throw of the flag by the officials. There's the holding. Now we'll back it up a little bit.
I'm going to say that one was wind aided. I don't know if he's got that. I don't know if he's got that type of hose on him.
You don't know. He might have been a QB back in the day.
He could have been. Could have been.
Pretty darn good one, too. 1st down and 20 for IUP. 13:40 to go in this first half of play. 3 receivers set for the Crimson Hawks. Max Sexton on 1st and 17 will hand it off to Hauser. Badden coming up and making the tackle. It'll be 2nd down. Not Hauser on that carry. It was 34, which is IUP's backup running back today, J.D. Younger, excuse me. Younger remains the back here on 2nd down and 17 after no gain on the play. 13 minutes ago. Sexton in the shotgun with Younger to his left. Trips receivers. He'll dump it down the flat to Younger. Younger hurdles a man and then gets lit up by Keyshawn Haley at around the 30-yard line.
Left tackle Darrell Davis was the big man out in space. 6'3", 310-pound grad student swinging out. That's very similar to a swing pass that Shepherd likes to use to Ronnie Brown, where it's a flare out of the backfield, but almost using it as a screen because they have that lineman working downfield. And Younger was able to trying to work it back, but again, that's one of the drawbacks to IUP's offense when they have that methodical downhill, pounding the ball. When you get behind the chains due to penalties, it's going to be hard for them to pick up those kind of chunk plays to get ahead of the chains.
6-yard pickup makes it a 3rd down and 11 for IUP. Looking for Dwayne Brown in tight coverage and incomplete. Clayton Batten breaks it up. It'll be 4th down for IUP, and we'll see how they roll with this one.
And it looks like even if he would have caught that, it would have been short of the 1st down, and there was plenty of hand fighting going both ways on that. I know he was on the IUP sidelines, and they were calling for the penalty, but there was hand fighting going back and forth, and we've seen these referees in the postseason and even in the PSAC. They let these boys play out there. They're not going to call the ticky-tack stuff. They're going to let them play football.
4th down and 11 for IUP. There was a few big pass interference calls that worked against Shepherd in that PSAC championship. And we got a timeout, so let's take a 30-second break. This is Shepherd University Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
We welcome you back here to IUP. Travis, talking about it during the break, a little bit surprised that IUP, if they're going to go for it here on 4th down, didn't maybe go for something a little bit more conservative on 3rd and 11 to try to make it a more manageable 4th down here.
And they are a methodical offense, and they're out of their comfort zone when they're having to try to go for these chunk plays to get back on schedule, but they feel like they have good field position. Their defense has been holding up pretty good so far. As Kauser's trying to get off the field in time, and he does, takes out a coach in the process.
What a slide on the far side.
It was like an Indiana Jones slide right there.
Just made it underneath the trap. But Sexton is short of the 1st down marker. Anelia Pena comes up and makes the tackle along with Malik Holloway to stop him on 4th down. Shepherd will take
slide right there.
Just made it underneath the trap. As Sexton is short of the 1st down marker. And we had the epic Kevin Kauser slide that almost took me away from what was going on with the play.
And Sexton, not known for his scrambling ability, was able to pick up some yards. But again, that Rams defense, you might get them out of position for an instant, but they're so quick to react, and their effort is just relentless, and they were able just to surround the ball carrier and bring him down short of the line to gain. And now that Rams offense back out there looking to go to work with 5 wide receivers.
Shepherd hasn't faced a lot of dual threat quarterbacks, really just the one they faced at Westchester. There's Walker in the flat, incomplete. Taylor again in coverage for IUP.
And I think Walker's eyes may have gone upfield a little sooner, knowing that Taylor was closing in. Again, there's a big size disparity, but Taylor certainly punches above his weight. You don't want to take that type of shot on the sideline this early in the game.
And 6'2", 195 is a big corner.
Yes.
It's not your typical corner there on the outside. So
he's bringing a lot to the party.
2nd down and 10, 11:49 to go in this first half. We're tied at 7.
Certainly enough to break your concentration.
Brown is the back, but Bajent will throw here on 2nd down. Throws to a wide open Brian Walker. He has the 1st down that time. Tackle on the play by Kelly. Connor Kelly, the 6'2", 240-pound grad student linebacker, one of the stars of the IUP defense. It's a 1st down for Shepherd as they move the ball to the 39-yard line with 11.5 minutes to go in this first half.
And Kelly coming off of a good game last week, 7 tackles, 3 of those solo, also having a half tackle for loss.
Agent will throw on the wide receiver screen for Rodney Dorsey.
Tyson Bajent, that's the second time that that throws come out a bit wonky when he's getting the ball, trying to throw it out quickly to the sidelines. Usually his footwork is impeccable, but that time he tried to use all arm, and the ball came up just a bit short.
So Brown remains the back. Kenny Edlin in the ball game for Shepherd with no E.J. Morgan, who went down earlier with an injury. 2nd down and 10 for the Rams with 11:15 to go in the first half. They'll dump it down the flat to Ronnie Brown, and this could always be trouble. Ronnie puts on a dance move at the 45 before he's brought down short of the sticks. It'll be 3rd down and manageable, though, for Shepherd.
Ronnie Brown, quite the capable receiver out of the backfield. Coming into today's game, 50 catches, 530 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
3rd and 4, 10:50 to go in this second quarter. Bajent looks to the sideline.
He's got time, about 15 seconds on the play clock.
Edlin and Dorsey are the wide receivers to this near side. Looks like Foray, the man to the far side on 3rd down. Bajent pumps, steps up, dumps it down for Walker, and dangerous pass as breaking in on that route for IUP. Come flying in there was Jaheim Howard.
Like you mentioned, the dangerous pass. Tyson Bajent flushed out of the pocket, working over towards that right hash mark, trying to throw it back across his body to that left hash mark, catching Brian Walker off guard. He was only able to get one hand, and usually when you reach up with that one hand over the middle, bad things tend to happen, but the ball was able to fall harmlessly to the turf.
Now a high punt from nearly dangerous and now caught.
So I'm not sure if it's going to be
fair catch interference, perhaps?
I'm thinking so, because there was a lot of Ram defenders around Ridley on that play, and
didn't really let him get to the ball. Presuming he did wave for the fair catch. It was a weird-looking punt. It ended up being kind of dangerous for IUP.
And Kalen Frazier, hats off to Kalen Frazier. He did a good job of maintaining his concentration because the ball bounced right in his chest. And
Yep, there it is, the fair catch interference against Shepherd. So that will set up IUP pretty nicely here to begin this drive. In a tied ball game, the IUP Crimson Hawks went right down the field to grab the early 7-0 lead following that drive after on the initial drive for Shepherd. It was a 3-and-out, but on their second drive of the game, the Rams tie things up at 7 on kind of a bad coverage or breakdown in coverage, allowing Ronnie Dorsey to get wide open for a touchdown. That's how we got to this point here. 7-7, 10-15 to go in the first half, and Sexton under center with Hauser the back. Sent a few guys in motion and now hand it off to Hauser, and he is stuffed. Maybe a yard on the play. Nathan Muley leading the charge for Shepherd.
And the Rams defense can be very stout. Like we mentioned, Muley has been coming on strong here as of late for that Rams defensive unit. Between him and Dunbar, got a little beef there in the middle for that Rams defensive unit. And you're going to need that stout play, especially with a linebacker like Grantham out. So you're going to need a little bit more out of those defensive linemen today.
2nd down and 10 for IUP. Sexton will hand to Hauser, this time a little bit more room, but a big hit. Comayao coming up and making the hit for Shepherd. He's played well so far early on, Travis, in replace of Dwayne Grantham.
And again, those are big shoes to fill, but Shepherd's not lacking of talent or depth. But what you miss is that experience and that command of the game when you start going down on the depth chart and bringing those guys in. And that's something that's going to loom large, especially in these postseason games.
3rd and 6 for IUP. Sexton, play action, throws in the flat, incomplete. Dropped on the play for the Crimson Hawks. Pass intended for Isaiah Hauser.
Patton did a good job of working off of that block. Even if the wide receiver was able to bring that one in, he wouldn't have gotten far. Patton did a good job fighting off Dwayne Brown's block, and he might have gave up that big play early on, but Patton has certainly responded in a big way. The past couple times the ball has come in his direction.
Well, the Shepherd defense has responded since that opening drive for IUP that got the Crimson Hawks on the board first. So Shepherd will get the ball back here. 8:56 to go in the first half. IUP did defer to begin the ball game. Still, though, a lot of time here before halftime before we start worrying about that. And that one just caught in the wind. Now bounce at the 50. Shepherd's got to make sure it gets away. And they touched it around the 45, 46, so that's where they'll spot it.
And that's something that I enjoy, being close to the Shepherd coaching staff and being a high school coach. It is just something that goes on when you're telling your guys to get away from the football and they inch as close to the ball as possible, even though you're screaming to get away from it. Get away from the ball. You usually hear poison or something similar like that for them to get away from the ball, but it's just they are mesmerized by the football in those plays. Get away. You're going to get the ball with excellent field position. You don't want anything fluky happening where you can lose possession of the ball.
So Shepherd does have it in excellent field position around the 44-yard line. First down and 10. They'll feed Ronnie Brown, and there's a good hole for Ronnie. Close to the first down sticks. Going to be about 2nd down and 1 for Shepherd.
Big Joey Fisher doing a good job of just washing down that defense on the backside of that play. And Ronnie Brown, excellent vision, did a good job of making that read, taking what the defense gives him, just makes that small cut back. And Joey Fisher able to do the rest, and Ronnie Brown picking up a big chunk on first down.
Shepherd really having to use its depth in the wide receiver core. Here's Darrell Harper, who bobbles it and now hauls it in. That's a freshman. We haven't seen Cam Dorner today. So, I mean, you're talking about potential injuries or guys that we know are not out there. You know, Marlon Cook, Ryan Beach obviously aren't playing. We haven't seen Dorner, so now we see Harper. Harper's came up in a few games this year where Shepherd's been in well control and he's caught some big passes. So we know there's talent, but we just haven't seen a lot of him. And the Rams are excited about his future, though. I know that.
And right now the Rams going with a bigger look. Dorsey checks out of the game.
Dorner is the receiver there on the far side.
And Michael McCook checks into the game.
So you have two freshmen out there, wide receiver for Shepherd. Here's Ronnie Brown, not finding much room, but he got enough for the first down sticks as he kind of sneaked his way in.
Good disciplined run. He stuck with his fullback. If you've watched Top Gun, you know you don't want to leave your wingman. You tell your running back you don't want to leave your fullback. That's your wingman. He's going to lead the way. And Ronnie Brown did a good job of just burying his nose into the back of his lineman and pushing forward.
They're marking that fourth down.
Oh, man, that was not a favorable spot.
I thought Ronnie Brown had kind of squeaked his way through that little gap and found the first down, but apparently it's 4th and inches for Shepherd.
All right, McCook still in the game. Also Walker in the game. It's going to be a timeout. Rams want to think about this one.
Let's keep it here. Do we ever get a Michael McCook carry? I don't remember the last time I've seen one of those. I wouldn't mind one here in this situation on 4th and an inch.
I had to study for myself for that one. We were waiting for that carry all year long.
Could get a quarterback sneak, obviously, in this situation. Would make a lot of sense. 4th down and inches. But, again, IUP is going to be probably ready for that. And that's not something that they run a ton either. So, I mean, you're really going into the playbook. I mean, QB sneak is a pretty basic play, but if you don't run it a ton as a quarterback, it can be difficult.
And also adding to that difficulty, Runya Mitchell sitting down in that A-gap. So you really don't want to try to run at that big fella there in the middle of the line. So it's going to be something off guard or off tackle, but you certainly want a quick hitter to pick up this play. Nothing fancy. Move those sticks, get yourself a fresh set of downs.
We'll see here what Shepherd draws up. It looks like they are going to go to their shotgun, more their traditional or pistol formation here. Maybe we'll see something with McCook leading the way for Brown. Off tackle.
8 in the box for IUP.
Agent will go to Ronnie Brown.
Good
he
push
definitely
up front.
has the first down and more. Joey Fisher mauling people over along with that Shepherd offensive line.
Good push up front.
Yeah, it looked like Stilly, Ronnie Brown. Good push. Dominated that right side, and even Chandler Brown and Wyatt Pelicano doing their job on the far side as well. First down and 10 for Shepherd from the 30-yard line. I like the decision to call that timeout. Travis, kind of readjust what you had there initially and get that first down.
Get everybody settled down, get everybody on the same page. You realize that this is going to be a critical moment in the game. You don't want to give the ball back or the momentum back to IUP, and the Rams able to extend this drive.
6:20 to go in the first half. We're tied at 7. Bajent. Going to hand it to Ronnie Brown. Brown kind of stutter steps up the middle, still going inside the 20-yard line for another first down for Shepherd.
Good block on the backside that time by Brian Walker. A hinge block opened up that gap. Ronnie Brown was tempted to take it back outside, but again, we talked about his maturity during the course of the season. Decided to stick with the play, pounded it up the middle, able to squeak through that second level and pick up some big yards and get another first down. Again, Ronnie Brown showing that he's a threat no matter where he's at on the field.
Dorsey, Harper, and Dorner, the receivers for Shepherd, here on first down and 10. Bajan in the gun. Oh, play action. Find Dorner wide open for a touchdown.
Peeking in the backfield. You can't have your defense.
Bajan in the gun.
Run the football like that. They're going to have to make that adjustment. They're going to have to come.
Bajan in the gun.
Bit on that play, hook, line, and sinker. You cannot look in the backfield, and Dorner was able to slip behind the defensive back into the end zone untouched. You're not going to get many prettier touchdowns than that. Bajan to Dorner.
Bajan with that touchdown pass has now tied Alex Taney for the NCAA touchdowns record at all three levels. The former Monmouth quarterback and currently a quality control coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. So one more touchdown and Bajan breaks the record. The extra point is good from Jacob Haney. 14-7, 5:35 to go in this first half. And what a job by Bajan and this Shepherd offense there. You're running the ball, really going at IUP, and Cam Dorner just kind of slips out. One of those freshmen. But again, this is game number 14. Like at this point, you're past what most freshmen get to play. So these guys are being forced to step up, and Dorner and Harper, and then on defense, Komayao as well. And they've all done their job so far today, Travis.
And again, running the ball effectively is going to make your play action better. And one of those things that's really going to entice that defense to look in the backfield is when you do a play action pass and you pull those linemen up front. So that's really setting off all those keys on defense. So they're having to look in the backfield and account for that run threat. And when they do, Tyson Bajan, he's shown time and time again, he can pull that ball and throw a pinpoint pass and make that defense pay.
And the ball falls off the tee here before the kickoff. 5:35 to go. Shepherd on top, 14-7. Nick Verzolini alongside me, Travis Smith here on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube. Colin McLaughlin, our on-site producer. Spencer Dupuis back in the studio. Braden Schaffner and Dylan Bishop on camera this afternoon. Here from George P. Miller Stadium in Indiana, Pennsylvania. The rematch of the PSAC Championship. It is the Super Region 1 championship game between Shepherd and IUP. Here's the kickoff from Haney. It's a pretty good kick. It's going to go all the way into the end zone. IUP will decide not to take it out. And
Taylor was tempted.
Yeah, he was.
But he thought better about it, getting his offense better field position by staying in the end zone. And the most important thing from their previous drive, a longer drive, the Rams defense able to get on the sidelines, get some water in them, get a rest, and more importantly, make those adjustments because they've really come out and played well after that initial drive. Once IUP got off their game-opening script, have not had that same type of success afterwards, and you have to credit those defenders out there on the field making those adjustments on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, Shepherd has done a pretty good job so far here defensively, and we'll see if they can keep it up. It's first down and 10. With 5:35 to go for IUP. Here's a toss play to the outside. Pena does a good job of getting off his block and make the tackle. Komayao flying over there as well for the Rams. Looked like Devin Lynch. So all three of those kind of linebackers coming up and making that stop for Shepherd.
And again, that was the second time the IUP's shown that look where they motion that wing back and forth, and then they throw it to the side. It's basically a student body left. They're just trying to get more people at the point of attack than what Shepherd can bring. But again, Shepherd very good and capable on the outside of shedding those blocks and making the tackle.
4-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 6. Short pickup there. Kyle Smith makes the tackle around the 30-yard line. Be 3rd and 5 for IUP. 4:48 to go before halftime. 14-7, Shepherd on top.
I think Max Sexton on that play wanted to pull the ball and work his RPO option on the backside, but Adam Hauser kind of overpowered him when he clamped down on the football and called his own number.
Sexton in the gun with Hauser the back to his right. 2 receivers to the far side for IUP, 1 to the near. Sexton takes the snap, throws to the near side, nearly intercepted by Malik Holloway. Rare to see him drop back into coverage, and he was there to knock it away, intended for Ridley, and I think that fooled Sexton. He wasn't expecting him to be there.
That's what the only person more surprised than us was the quarterback, Wyatt Sexton. Little zone dog action that time, dropping back a defensive lineman in the coverage. But again, when you have those undersized defensive ends, that's one of the things that they can bring to your defense is that you can drop them back in the coverage, and on that short side of the field, they can be very tough in that small space as far as defending the pass.
I mean, we're not too far from Pittsburgh, and of course they made the zone blitz popular. Here is the fair catch called by Rodney Dorsey around the 45-yard line.
We've seen some incredible catches on these punt returns.
I mean, the way the punts are coming with this wind.
And there was something going on with that punt. It's almost the punter had to double clutch it a little bit, and he kind of did like a little rugby action where he rolled out to his right before he kicked it. So it might be something where IUP's kind of, testing the waters a little bit, possibly for a fake punt.
And I think the Shepherd crowd has traveled as the Rams offense comes onto the field to a big cheer for 1st down and 10, but also that IUP crowd bringing it as well. 1st down and 10, Ronnie Brown gets the carry, reverses field. This could be either really good or really bad. Ronnie Brown did all that for 2 yards, but he got 2 yards out of it.
It's going to be one of the more exciting 2-yard runs that you're ever going to see. He was bottled up to the play side, but he's certainly not a player that's going to give up on a play. He's going to look to maximize any time he touches the ball, and everybody's going to hold their breath when Ronnie Brown gets the ball in his hands.
They only give him about a yard, but it was a lot of yards that ran. He ran about 40 yards to get a yard.
Certainly give him an A for effort.
And it could have been a 5-6 yard loss. I wasn't certain what Ronnie was doing, but he found a way. 2nd down and 9, 3:33 to go. Bajent looking to throw. Sees a blitz from IUP, and what a grab on that far sideline. Great catch by Alfonso Foray. 3:33 to go. In for the 1st down. That's why you brought him in.
And good block on that play side by Ronnie Brown, going low on the defender, making him bring his hands down because he knows his quarterback has to throw a dart to the sideline, so you don't want to have a chance of that ball being tipped up in the air. So good teamwork all around that time. Great pinpoint throw by Tyson Bajent. Good block by Ronnie Brown. And, of course, an outstanding catch by Alfonso Foray on the sideline.
They're saying it's 3rd down. I thought for certain that Foray had caught that
when he was beyond the sticks. Yeah. So far, it's been a couple
questionable
spots going in this direction.
Yeah, I don't see how that wasn't ruled a first.
I mean, where he called it for progress, all of the above.
Where the ball was thrown. Even it was thrown past the 1st down marker when Foray had to reach back for it to make that unbelievable catch there on the sideline. But it's 3rd down apparently, so we'll play it here from 3rd and 1 for the Rams. Kenny Edlin to the far side for Shepherd along with Foray. And they're going to keep this a 3rd and 1. Cam Dorner, the receiver, to the near side. Ronnie Brown is the back. Dorner goes in motion. Bajent takes the snap, hands it off to Brown. Brown leaps up, has the 1st down, unless they spot him short. And they will move the chains.
Hey, you gotta wait and see with this crew.
I mean, he got it by 2 yards there, so I don't see how it wouldn't be a 1st down, but it's 1st and 10 Shepherd.
And a similar play that the Rams used to convert on that 4th down, motioning that wide receiver down into the box. You got that extra defender on the backside, going to wash that defense down, and you put the ball in the hands of Ronnie Brown and let him find that lane, get skinny in the hole, and poke it ahead for the 1st down.
3 minutes to go before the half. Bajent in the gun. Dorner and Dorsey, the receivers, to the near side. On the far side, it's Foray. McCook is in the backfield at fullback. Bajent will fake it to Ronnie. Now have to avoid a defender and roll to his right. Bajan looking downfield, will throw it away and now take a jog on the track and head back toward the field.
Good throwaway. Really wasn't anything there, no reason to force it.
Yeah, you really only had Foray running a post route there, and that wasn't open, so no reason to force, like you said, Travis. Second down here in 10.
And good pressure that time by Will Marr, coming in hard off the edge. Not getting sucked down, and again, we talked about the athleticism of Tyson Bajan, able to extend plays like that. I'm sure Will Marr has run down quite a few quarterbacks in his day, but he wasn't able to come up with a sack that time.
Bajan on a second down and 10. They'll go Ronnie Brown. Brown stutter steps in the hole, gets it down inside the 40-yard line. Again, that offensive line doing its job for 4 yards on the play, bring up third down. They'll give them 5, third down and 5 here for the Rams with 2:20 to go in this first half of play. Shepherd leading 14-7, a crucial drive here before halftime. IUP gets the ball to start the second half, so you'd love a 2-touchdown lead heading into halftime. Third down and 5 with 2 minutes to go. Bajan with Harper, the receiver, the near side. Now Brown will go out to that far side. Bajan steps up, throws it underneath, complete to Dorsey, who is met at the sticks, but he picked up the first down.
And Taylor can't believe that he wasn't able to come up with that tackle.
We didn't.
More than a stiff breeze to bring down Rodney Dorsey. He's got that low center of gravity, kept his legs churning, able to break that tackle and get yards after the contact. He checks out of the game. I'm sure he needs a squirt of Gatorade before he gets back in there after making that run and catch.
So Shepherd has it first down and 10, a minute 49 to go before halftime, and the Rams lead by 7.
And Dorner getting some help off the field, and again, this Rams wide receiving core
They're getting
thin. Might have to get Colin McLaughlin to suit up here in the second half.
He plays for, who is it? He played for somebody. There's Kenny Edlin for the first down. Can't remember who Colin was playing for. Maybe Edinburgh? Or who was it? Spencer wasn't at last time. Colin probably knows. First down and 10 for the Rams.
Still has the game jersey to prove it.
Minute 30 to go. He has eligibility.
He has eligibility.
Ronnie Brown is the back to the left, but so does everybody with COVID nowadays. Rodney Dorsey, Kenny Edlin, the receivers as well. Bajan looking to throw. Tyson throws over the middle for Walker. He makes the catch, and there's the record. Tyson Bajan is the king of touchdowns in NCAA football.
That time, Drew D'Annunzio Biss
throws over the middle for Walker. He makes the catch, and there's the record. Tyson Bajan is the king of touchdowns in NCAA football.
Field throws the ball over the linebackers' heads. The safety was nowhere to be found, and Brian Walker able to climb up to the top of the ladder and bring that touchdown pass in.
Bajan passes Alex Taney for the all-time NCAA division or NCAA football record at all 3 levels. The extra point from Jacob Haney is up, and it is good. It is Shepherd 21, IUP 7. 1 minute to go before halftime. We'll take a 30-second break. This is Shepherd University Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Travis Smith. Shepherd extends its lead to 21-7 on the Tyson Bajan pass to Brian Walker. Walker caught the record to pass Jimmy Terwilliger on the Division II level touchdowns for Tyson Bajan, and he catches the touchdown pass to pass Alex Taney here against IUP. So pretty cool there if you're Brian Walker, part of 2 historic touchdown catches.
Brian Walker has been wide open several times, right over the middle, has done a good job of just dominating in between the hash marks, not only today, but all season long. He's really emerged as a threat in this Rams offense.
Haney will kick it away, and Taylor will let it bounce at the U and IUP. And we'll see if they can respond. This isn't a necessarily high-powered IUP offense. I mean, they do have Dwayne Brown, who's an explosive player, but like you said, really all game, Travis, they like to methodically move the ball down the field. And so we'll see here. They're going to have to operate quickly with 1 minute and 9 seconds down by 14. You'd love a touchdown if you're IUP to get right back into things and get the ball to start the second half.
I'm curious to see how they approach this. They do have 2 timeouts. So will they just be content to run this out, or will they try to come away with some points?
At least based on formation, they're looking to run the ball here, or at least run their normal offense. And there's a little reverse play. Gets it across the 30-yard line. Ball came out, but the whistle was already blown, excuse me.
Devin Lynch looking for his second turnover
but
of the day.
The clock is rolling here under a minute, and I wonder, too, if IUP's thought process might be, if we do come out, throw the ball quickly and go 3 and out and don't burn any time, Shepherd would still have like 45 seconds in decent field position with the wind and these punts today. 34 seconds. Yeah, Shepherd now is going to burn that time out, which I think is smart because maybe they're thinking about trying to get the ball back.
And again, you just put the pressure on IUP to make a decision.
Yeah.
Like you're not just going to get out of this half without risking something. So by calling that timeout, you make IUP put some skin in the game.
Second down and about 3 for the Crimson Hawks with 32 seconds to go before halftime. Shepherd leads it 21-7. So the Rams fell in the conference championship game here to IUP 24-21, and Shepherd has played one of its better first halves we've seen this year. That's been the thing, too. Shepherd's gotten off to some slow starts, but a 21-7 lead at halftime, definitely a good start to this ball game, but we'll see who makes those better halftime adjustments. Travis, this one's far from over. If you're both teams, Sexton under center. Second down and about 3. Hauser is the back. Sexton sends a man in motion. They'll go Hauser off the right side, and he is stopped short of the sticks. No gain on the play. Malik Holloway in on that tackle for Shepherd, and they'll burn that final timeout, or no? Shepherd will let it roll.
Bednarski also in on that tackle. Rams rotating those defensive linemen, keeping them fresh throughout the day. And you're going up against a team that likes to pound the ball in between the tackles, so it's going to be important, especially early on in the game, is that you're going to rotate those guys, keep them fresh, so therefore your big horses are going to be fresh and ready to go down the stretch.
So we'll hear from Coach McCook and Dylan Bishop when the Rams come out of the locker room to begin the second half. But until we get to that point, it is Shepherd 21, IUP 7. Let's go ahead and take a 2-minute break. On the other side of that break, we'll have halftime. It'll be about 2 minutes, and then we'll return. So this is Shepherd University Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube. Our score, Shepherd 21, IUP 7. We're back in 2 minutes.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
I picked Shepherd University because I'm not just a number.
One of the things that surprised me is how friendly everyone is.
I like being able to walk down the street and have the professors recognize me by name.
I'm constantly learning.
But it also has taught me so much about myself and about what I want to do with my future.
The location at Shepherd is amazing.
Cities like Washington, D.C., Baltimore are only about an hour, hour and a half away.
You just got to see it. Once you see it, it just takes your heart.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the it. An incredible finish by Holmes.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
We're at the half. Time for a scoring recap, stats and analysis, scores from around the PSAC and Super Region 1, the Division I Top 25, and the latest on the West Virginia University Mountaineers and Marshall University Thundering Herd. Let's get it started as we go back to the field and rejoin our TV10 broadcast team.
To George P. Miller Stadium. Nick Verzolini alongside me is Travis Smith. Shout out to our crew, Colin McLaughlin, our on-site producer, Braden Schaffner, our cameraman, Spencer Dupuis back in the studio, along with Dylan Bishop on camera as well. And Travis here at the half. Shepherd has IUP really right in the perfect situation if you're the Rams. Up 21-7. The offense seems to be clicking on the last few drives. The defense has played really good since the first drive, and this isn't an IUP team, like we said. They have a good offense, but they're not going to usually score very quickly. They're a team that likes to really move the ball down the field with that balance between run and pass, and if Shepherd has a 14-point lead, you might get them out of their comfort zone a little bit.
And we've known, after watching this Shepherd team over the past couple of years, that's when that Shepherd team really begins to take it to the next levels, when they're able to force you away from your plan A and have you chasing points. And once you do that, that's when you hear guys like Malik Holloway and Kyle Smith. That's when they really start to put their stamp on the ball game.
Yeah, and that's really when Shepherd can get after it, because those defensive ends know that if you're being forced to throw the football, they can come off the edge and blitz and do their thing. So Shepherd's in the perfect situation here. Now, can they play the complete game and close this one out? Because this is an IUP team that, as we know, they're 10-1. They beat Shepherd already. You know, they're a traditionally great program. They have a great coach. They're going to make those halftime adjustments. It's going to come down to which team still makes those better halftime adjustments. Even with a 14-point lead for Shepherd, you don't want to count out this IUP team quite yet.
Absolutely. Like you said, the talent on the field that they have, also the talent on the sidelines. This is going to be one of the better coaching staffs that you're going to see in the PSAC. So it's going to be very interesting.
In Region 1.
Yeah, in Region 1. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a fun second half to watch. They elected to defer the ball to the second half, so they're going to have a chance to get that ball first. And we've seen what they've been able to do when they get that ball and they're able to operate off of that script early on in the half, where they're able to move the ball down the field. So they're going to be poised to make something happen here in the second half, and it's going to be on the Rams to try to weather that storm and maintain this advantage.
We don't have the stats quite yet. We'll have to go down and grab those. But I think one thing that's noticeable without even looking at the numbers is Shepherd's getting that balance that we talked about. They are keeping it. They're giving Ronnie Brown his touches, and they're keeping the IUP defense on its toes, which we know was so important in the loss that Shepherd faced last time. It just seems like this team's in a much better groove than it was last time. And it's interesting because Shepherd is so beat up at wide receiver, but that core has really stepped up here today to make the plays when called upon. But the ground game has really kept the defense off, and that kind of opened up stuff in the passing game for Shepherd.
And you're seeing the Shepherd coaching staff being a bit more daring as using those play-action passes. Like we mentioned, you want to run the ball, and that's going to make the defense have to honor those play-action passes. But what's really going to make that defense bite on those play-action passes is when you're also pulling offensive linemen to try to influence them to get their eyes in the backfield. And we've seen two blown coverages for no other reason than the defensive backs are peeking in the backfield. And any DB's coach will tell you that's usually the death knell. When you're peeking in the backfield trying to see what's going on in the run game, and that's when you usually see that touchdown pass sailing over your head. So kudos to that Rams coaching staff making those adjustments, sticking with the run. Like we said, it's a windy day. The weather conditions, although they may appear to be pretty, they're not ideal down there on the field, especially for a team that has a precision passing game like the Rams like to use. So if you're able to lean on that running game, lean on that play-action pass where you're not asking your quarterback, one, to make 50 throws during the game or make incredible pinpoint throws during the game, it just really just relaxes the entire offense when you're able to maintain that balance and run the ball effectively.
All right, we will take a 2-minute break. On the other side of that break, we'll send it to Spencer Dupuis back in the studio. This is the Mansion Freddie Law Firm halftime show. And Shepherd leads 21-7 over IUP. And then we'll send it to Spencer, and then at the other side of that break, we'll have those halftime stats for you. This is Shepherd Rams Football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades.
Welcome into the Scoreboard Show live from the TV 10 studios in Martinsburg as Shepherd on top of IUP for the Super Region 1 title, 21-7. All three of those touchdown passes coming from Tyson Bajan. He now is the touchdown pass king across all NCAA divisions as he passed Alex Tanney with this touchdown pass.
Throws over the middle for Walker. He makes the catch, and there's the record. Tyson Bajan is the king of touchdowns in NCAA football.
That Tyson Bajan was an amazing quarterback, and now he tops all NCAA records when it comes to touchdown passes in his career across no matter what level. And now we'll have to wait and see where Shepherd can go after this game. But again, 21-7 lead at halftime. And a great day so far, 12 of 19 for Tyson Bajan. We'll look at the other college or the other Division II region final scores right now. Grand Valley State has a 14-7 lead over Ferris State at the half. Colorado State of the Mines is on top of Angelo State. That game just getting started about 20 minutes ago. They're on top 7-0 in the first quarter. Looks like still scoreless between Wingate and West Florida. And the way things probably shape out, if Shepherd continues to lead this game and win and take that win today, they'll probably hit that third rank mark and have to travel next week to either Angelo State or Colorado State of the Mines, because you figure Grand Valley State, Ferris State will most likely get the number 1 seed, as that's the best super region throughout all of Division II. That's de facto state or de facto NCAA Division II championship. But let's look at college football scores across the FBS ranks. Conference championships happening today and yesterday. The ones that really matter, though, last night, number 11 Utah upsets number 4 USC 47-24. That'll change the college football playoff rankings race here as we get ever so closer to the college football playoffs. I believe tomorrow they come out who will be seeded 1 through 4. But right now, only game currently going on. That's a top 25 matchup that anybody really cares about today. With 12:19 left in the third, number 10 Kansas State is looking to upset the undefeated number 3 TCU. That game 21-10, and that would really change some things in the college football playoff. But that could put Alabama in the college football playoff if things work out the way that they could. I mean, the way ESPN projections right now have it, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State, with USC losing last night. Games going on this afternoon, 4 p.m., number 14 LSU against number 1 Georgia. Also at 4 p.m., number 22 UCF against number 18 Tulane. That for the American Athletic Conference. Obviously LSU Georgia for the SEC Championship. 8 p.m. on Fox. Purdue at number 2 Michigan, that's at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. That's a Big Ten championship game. And then wrapping things up for the Power 5 or really big schools that are ranked, 8 p.m. on ABC, the ACC championship, number 9 Clemson against number 23 North Carolina. But that will do it for me back in the studio. After this break, we'll send it back out to Nick Verzolini and Travis Smith as they'll be on the call for the second half. They'll get you some more first half stats. But again, Tyson Bagent breaks the all-time division or NCAA across all marks. He breaks the record with 158 touchdown passes, passing Alex Tanney from Monmouth, graduated in 2012. He had 157, and that's the mark that, talking to Travis Bagent all year on Monday Night Mayhem, which you can tune into 6 to 8 p.m. on TV 10 WRNR, TV on YouTube, live from the On Moon Tavern. That's what Travis Bagent wanted his son to go for, and that's what he did. He now owns the all-time Division II, or the all-time NCAA mark. After this 2-minute break, we'll send it back out to IUP. They'll get you ready for the second half.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
College sports fans, get ready for game day with officially licensed merchandise from the NCAA official online shop, ncaa.com/shop. Get the whole family geared up with the best collection of apparel and accessories, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, headwear, championship gear, and more. Visit the NCAA shop for today's special offer and rep your favorite team now. Only at ncaa.com/shop.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions, with exclusive access.
This is your ticket to the NCAA tournament.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
We welcome you back here at the half. Shepherd leads IUP 21-7. We'll now get you those halftime stats. We'll start with IUP. Adam Hauser, 15 carries, but just 29 yards. So Shepherd doing a great job of containing the run, unlike that first matchup between these two teams where they allowed over 150 yards on the ground. Also some standouts for the Rams defensively in this first half, and what's been working for IUP a little bit to an extent. Max Sexton throwing the football, 6 of 12, 85 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Also on the IUP side, Dwayne Brown, 2 catches, 47 yards. Cole Laney has the 1 touchdown reception, 1 catch for 18 yards. Other than that, not a whole lot of highlights in the passing game for the Crimson Hawks. Defensively for IUP, Drew Denizzo-Biss leads the way with 6 total tackles in that first half. Jaheim Howard with 5 tackles. Connor Kelly with 4. Maurice Fazell with 4 as well. Ronnie Brown for Shepherd. We talked about the balance, Travis. Ronnie Brown has the amount of carries that Shepherd ran the ball for last time. He only had 8 carries in the entire game last time. In total, Shepherd ran the ball 13 times. Brown has 13 carries here at the half for 50 yards. Just keeping that balance is always important. It's only 3.8 yards a carry, but, hey, that will get you a first down if you keep doing that on every play.
Absolutely, and it keeps your offense on schedule. You don't fall behind the chains, and it takes a ton of pressure off your passing game, and it sets up those play-action passes that Tyson Bajan has feasted on here in the first half.
Yes, a very good first half for Tyson Bajan. 12 of 19 passing, 179 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the first half as well. Those touchdowns were caught by Rodney Dorsey, Brian Walker, and Cam Dorner. As we await Dylan down on the sidelines, the stats for the defensive side leaders: Anelia Pena 6 tackles, Malik Holloway 5, Devin Lynch 4, Kyle Smith 4. And we'll quickly recap the scoring from that first half. Laney scored the opening touchdown with 8:35 to go in the first quarter, but Shepherd would respond on the next drive with a 71-yard touchdown pass from Tyson Bajan to Rodney Dorsey. Then a few moments later, 5:35 to go in the first half, Shepherd's Bajan would connect with Cam Dorner on an 18-yard touchdown to give Shepherd the 14-7 lead at the time. And then after an 8-play, 55-yard drive, taking 2:56 off the clock, Bajan connected to Brian Walker to break the NCAA record for most career touchdowns at any level. He already held the D2 record. He already passed Case Keenum, who held the D1 record. He passed Alex Taney today for the all-time NCAA record with that touchdown pass to Brian Walker, who also caught the pass to pass Jimmy Terwilliger for the record in terms of Division II. So some craziness there in terms of all those numbers, but Shepherd leads 21-7 at the half. And just a really good first half of football for the Rams as we await still Coach McCook and the Rams to run back out onto the field and get that interview. Travis, anything that really stands out to you about that first half?
I think you mentioned it. Ronnie Brown getting those 13 carries in the first half. He's already surpassed the numbers as far as yards and carries that he had combined all the last game, and I think the result has been obvious. You've taken pressure off of the passing game. Tyson Bajan has been super efficient, completing 12 of 19, 179 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And again, just a clean offensive first half for Shepherd, for a team that has struggled to start out hot in the first half. So right now they've put a ton of pressure on IUP. IUP does get the ball here in the second half, but you have to take your hats off to that Shepherd Rams coaching staff. They made their adjustments. They knew what they needed to do coming into today's game to give their boys the advantage, and they've been able to do that so far.
Yeah, so it's been a good first half of play.
And I think you're going to see running that ball early in a game like that. You're going to see that defensive front, that vaunted defensive front from IUP, they're going to start to wear down. They were starting to wear down there towards the beginning of the first half. So just a good sustained attack. And that Rams offensive line, you can't say enough about them. They absolutely imposed their will, especially at the end of that first half. So big shout out to that Rams offensive front because they've really put their stamp on today's ball game.
Yeah, been a good first half for the offensive line, the defensive line as well for Shepherd. It was interesting talking with Nathan Muley this week, who had such a good game against Slippery Rock, and how Shepherd just completely struggled as a defensive line and a defensive unit stopping the run. And anytime that happens, that really you got to dig down deep and pull it out. But it looks like Dylan is now standing by with head coach Ernie McCook. Let's send it down to Dylan.
All right, Coach McCook, you guys got 2 touchdown lead at the half. Took a minute for the offense to get going. Defense played well. How do you feel about your team at the half?
You know what? I feel really good about the first half. Now I want to feel good about the second half. We need to execute. We got to make plays. Continue to play great defense the way we finished the first half, and make plays on offense.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Good luck. Back to Deck and Travis.
Thank you, Dylan. As Coach McCook, obviously he's very focused in the moment type of coach, and you get that right there from him at the half.
And again, you don't want to say that you don't have to make any adjustments at halftime. You always have to make adjustments at the first half, but it seemed like that Rams defense made their adjustments after their first drive. They were able to assess what IUP was doing. They made their adjustments, neutralized them, and the defense has really stepped up and really put IUP behind the chains, like we mentioned, getting them out of their comfort zone where they're having to force it to get those chunk plays as opposed to those plays naturally coming through a methodical approach. So a good job of that Rams defense really taking the IUP offense out of their comfort zone. And again, the offense doing what they do best, controlling the clock, putting up points for the Shepherd Rams, and Tyson Bagent leading the charge.
It'll be interesting to see what you do if you're Shepherd in terms of making halftime adjustments, because sometimes I think you get into halftime and you've played this well in the first half. You know, what do you try to adjust? I mean, there's always things you can clean up, but I think in some ways you might try to, I guess, figure out what they might try to do differently and then try to have a counter for that potentially if you're Shepherd. But football is a simple game. You don't want to overthink things too much, I think, as a team. Taylor receives it about a yard deep in the end zone, and we'll see if it wasn't a great decision. Only gets out to about the 15-yard line. And we'll see the IUP offense. If you are the Crimson Hawks and you want to work your way back into things, Travis, we talk about it all the time, typically with teams that are toward the bottom tier of the BSAC. But what Shepherd does such a good job of is getting those teams out of their comfort zone. If you're IUP, you got to stick to your bread and butter here to start the second half. Don't try to become Shepherd. Stay as IUP.
And what IUP does well, they use a lot of different formations. They use a lot of motions and misdirection, and they pound the ball. They continue to pound the ball because, again, that running game can pay dividends that doesn't necessarily show up in the stat sheet.
The run play action, throw it in the flat to the fullback there, Sulman.
Again, Sulman had a good first half. Kind of disappeared a little bit there in that second quarter, but you see the Crimson Hawks looking to go back to their big fullback here early on. And again, they like to stay in that 20 and 21 personnel where they want to keep those two running backs in. They also want to keep that tight end in. They like having more people at the point of attack than the defense. And one of the ways you can do that is by keeping those big bodies in there and your tight end and your fullback.
I think most of the time fullbacks kind of disappear.
Yes.
They go unnoticed unless they're Kyle Juszczyk. Adam Hauser here running off right tackle. Ball came out. Shepherd thinks they have it. We'll wait for the call for the Rams, but Shepherd, everybody in Shepherdstown thinks the Rams have the football. Coming out with it is Devin Lynch. And they'll give it to Shepherd. Well, what a game for Devin Lynch. An interception earlier, and now a fumble recovery in the game without Dwayne Grantham. We talked about coming out having to step up since he's not a typical starter, but Lynch also has to step up in a big way because Grantham is that guy next to him that's the other leader, and Devin Lynch has played great here today.
Absolutely. That defensive line, they stepped up to the challenge, trying to keep those linebackers clean, and Devin Lynch has just been an absolute ball hawk. Almost had a fumble recovery there in the first half. A lot of folks argued that it was a fumble. They rolled it down, but Devin Lynch able to get that ball back again for that Shepherd Rams offense, and you could tell it was a fumble just by the reaction of Hauser when he hit the turf because he went scrambling for the ball.
The last thing you want to see if you're IUP in this situation, there's Alfonso Foray at the 25-yard line. You never want to turn it over in any game, but you especially don't want to turn it over on your own side of the field, and then going up against Shepherd and Tyson Bagent. Good luck when you're already down 21-7.
And that's an absolute gut punch for the Crimson Hawks. You make that decision at the beginning of the game to defer to the second half to give yourself that extra possession, and on the very first play of that possession, you turn the ball over to a team that you're trailing by 14 points. So right now the Crimson Hawks in a deep hole.
Essentially, you just didn't defer.
Yeah.
But you didn't get the ball either. As Dorsey returns makes the reception, and he has the first down for Shepherd. And on the second play of that drive to begin the second half, and IUP turns it over.
And we talked about what adjustments that the Rams were going to make. That was an adjustment right there. Remember that motion where Dorner motions down to the backside of that formation? The two times that they showed that in the first half, it was a run play. This time they show that same action. They go to the short side of the field, and they do a bubble pass to Rodney Dorsey. So, again, the Crimson Hawks expecting that run, filling up in the box, and Tyson Bagent able to throw a precision pass out to the perimeter, and Dorsey able to pick up a first down.
Bagent as a stoppage of the play. And Shepherd burns a timeout.
That stings. You never want to have to burn a timeout this early in the second half. Fortunately for the Rams, they do have the lead. The momentum is on their sideline, but you prefer not to have to burn that timeout that early in the second half.
Yeah, I think maybe the thought process there, Travis, like you said, they're in the lead. They're up 21-7. If you can get another touchdown here.
They're going for a kill shot.
Yeah. And if you get a penalty, that can just completely kill your drive.
Yeah.
So you really don't want something like that, because in these situations so many times you see teams either take a sack or take a holding or something like that, and that just kills the drive. Again, Shepherd's kind of been a team that's going to go for it probably in this situation. So, turnover on downs, you really don't get anything out of that turnover. You at least want to get a first down here and be able to be in your field goal range and confidence for your kicker, Jacob Haney. Not that he can't make a field goal from here, he has, but it's been inconsistent at times.
Yeah, and again, you have those timeouts for a reason.
The wind is terrible, too, so you don't really want to kick in these situations.
So you call that timeout, get everybody on the same page, and you go out there and you put all your effort into putting this game on ice.
Bajan will go for the Ronnie Brown. He's got a good hole. Ronnie Brown's got room to the outside. Brown first down and more. Steps out of bounds around the 5-yard line.
Not too often you see him willingly run out of bounds, but he was able to turn on the Jets, get to the sidelines, and coast out of bounds.
Too.
Yeah, great blocking on the edge. And that's a credit to those wide receivers out there. That's a tough job to block out there on the edge in space. You're right there in front of the referees, so you have to be conscious about where your hands are and how you're blocking those defenders, because you don't want to pick up a holding penalty out there on the perimeter. And again, this Ronnie Brown just showing his speed, athleticism, and vision on that carry.
Ronnie Brown, the back in the backfield. First and goal from the 4 for the Rams. Agent gives to Brown. He's got some room, and he's into the end zone. Sheds off one tackler. Touchdown, Shepherd. The Rams extend the lead to 27-7 with 12:11 to go in the third quarter. And Ronnie Brown's in the end zone for the first time against IUP this season. They extend the lead. Goal from the 4. Travis, you stick with the run game, and it's just been a really good, well-executed game plan for Shepherd so far to extend this lead.
You want to talk about the game plan? The game plan is punch you in the face. They're lining up in the box, just bringing more people to the party than IUP can stop, and the Rams are not messing around. They're just running it right down the Hawks' throats right now.
Jacob Haney on to attempt the PAT, and it is up, and it is good. Shepherd 28, IUP 7. We'll take a 30-second break, 12:11 to go in this third quarter. This is Shepherd, University of Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube. We're back at 30.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions, with exclusive access.
This is your ticket to the NCAA tournament.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
To Indiana, Pennsylvania, Shepherd leads IUP 28-7. Nick Verzolini alongside me, Travis Smith, Colin McLaughlin, our on-site producer. Spencer Dupuis back in the studio in Martinsburg. On camera today, Braden Schaffner along with Dylan Bishop down on the sideline. Haney will kick it away. And Shepherd leads 28-7. Ronnie Brown with a touchdown run from 4 yards out to extend the Shepherd lead, and they'll let that one bounce into the end zone, and IUP will take over. So Travis, IUP defers to begin the ball game. Shepherd goes 3 and out. IUP punches it in. Felt like the game earlier this season in the PSAC championship, but then things have really turned around since that point, and Shepherd answers with 28 unanswered points to go up 28-7.
And right now, IUP, their back is squarely up against the wall. We're going to see how they're able to respond with this offensive onslaught at the hands of the Shepherd Rams offense.
Sexton takes the snap, hands it off to Hauser. Hauser running off the right side. Devin Lynch is there after Hauser escaped a few on the edge. And Lynch continues to make big plays. An interception and a fumble recovery to set up that Ronnie Brown touchdown was the fumble recovery on that last drive. Second down here in 7 after a 3-yard pickup. Shepherd has done just an excellent job stopping the run today after really they were out physical last time.
Absolutely.
They were the less physical team, and that's why IUP came away with the win. Not the case at all today. Shepherd has been the more physical team. Sexton rolling out to the right, looking to throw deep down the field. Dumps it down and gets blown up. That's a nominee for our collision of the game, Emilio Pena.
Yes, indeed. Emilio Pena coming up, going Diebner. Diebner did a good job of working to the sidelines, but Emilio Pena just gobbling up turf, able to come up and lower the boom.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 for Shepherd's. Pena. I mean, that's been several big hits from the Shepherd defense. They have been, again, more physical. That last game, whatever happened, happened. But in the rain, Shepherd just was not that team. Now the Rams are being that team here. Here's a 3rd down and 7. Sexton in the shotgun formation. Hauser is the back with 3 receivers to the far side. Clayton Batten, the corner on the near side on a one-on-one matchup with Brown. And they'll look that way. It's actually Ridley in the pass.
Good pass,
caught
good catch.
for a first down by Ridley.
Had Batten on Ridley. Bit of a size mismatch. When you look at Ridley, 6'3", a little bit of a slight frame, but Batten giving up about 4 or 5 inches on that play. So he has to respect the speed, has to respect the height, so he has to play off. And Sexton able to take advantage of that, throwing that back shoulder fade, and a good job by Ridley to haul it in, and a much-needed first down for IUP.
First down and 10 for the Crimson Hawks. Shepherd showing blitz. Now Lynch backs off. They'll run or fade to Hauser. Throw incomplete. Hauling in that one was Daniel Diebner. Diebner had a big game in that PSAC championship when Dwayne Brown was out. Not as big of an impact here today. That's his first catch, but it's an important one. It's a first down IUP.
And that was something that IUP had a lot of success with in their meeting during the PSAC championship game. When you're able to do that zone read fake in front of the quarterback, and when he pulls it, you have that backside slot wide receiver running that skinny post inside the hash marks. Just very tough to stop that pop pass over the middle when you're faking that run coming across the quarterback's face.
Sexton throws a dart over the middle, but incomplete behind his intended receiver, Brown. Second down and 10.
Brown looked like that ball might have.
Ridley again, the intended receiver.
Well, like Ridley, the ball hit him on his hand, maybe jammed a finger on that play. But that was a tight window that Sexton was able to get it in. So Sexton, not a big, strong arm quarterback. So he really has to step in and throw those passes over the middle. So he's pretty tough in between the hash marks. See if they do that toss play.
They'll roll to the right with Sexton under some pressure from Kyle Smith and throws incomplete. Good coverage by Pena on that one. Will bring up 3rd down.
So IUP's run that action several times today where they motion that wing back and forth across that tackle box. Earlier in the game, they did a toss to that side and had some success. That time the quarterback rolls out to that side. You have a lot of defenders, a lot of offensive options spreading out into that space, but the Rams made that adjustment. Every man was accounted for and not able to come up with a completion that time was the IUP offense.
3rd down and 10 for IUP. Sexton adjusting at the line of scrimmage. No backs in the backfield. It's a 5-wide receiver set. Sexton throwing. Big throw and a big catch by Ridley. Takes the hit from Keyshawn Haley and has the first down. But a flag on the play. Malik Holloway has his helmet off, so I would presume it's going to be hands to the face. Yep, hands to the face going against IUP. Holloway can stay in because his helmet was forced off by the defender, or the opponent, the offensive player. I was going to say the offender.
The offender.
Which he is an offender of the penalty.
Yes. Technically you are correct. But again, now you're starting to see the problems that you run into when you're having to run those deeper patterns. That's going to take time to develop. When it takes time to develop, that's when those outstanding pass rushers that the Rams have on that side of the ball, and Kyle Smith and Malik Holloway are able really to show what they're so good at, and that's making plays in the backfield and chasing down quarterbacks. Puts a lot of pressure on those offensive linemen to try to hold those blocks for that extra amount of time.
3rd and 25. Here's a pass complete underneath to Hauser, and he is short of the first down by about 10 yards. And IUP now has a decision to make on the Shepherd 45-yard line. Fourth down and 11, and they are going to punt.
And something that we've seen, and the benefit of sitting next to the Shepherd coaches, when you have so many new people in, it's going to adjust what you want to do on special teams.
It's a high snap. It gets away from the punter. Shepherd chasing after it is Keyshawn Haley. They'll down it at the 20-yard line. And that's where the Rams will take over. Man, nothing can go IUP. Shepherd is taking advantage and is pouring it on here at 28-7, and a chance to add more.
And a complete reversal of fortune this time around in this matchup where Shepherd, things were just going, every bounce went against Shepherd in that PSAC championship game. And now, with the weather being a little bit clearer, now things are going against IUP, and the Rams are just looking to press that advantage and take advantage of all of these miscues for IUP.
It's so windy that the ball was rolling on the ground due to the wind. Now, it might have just been a bad spot by the official, but it almost looked like the wind was causing the ball to roll.
They have not earned the benefit of the doubt today.
Bagent will go Ronnie Brown off the left side. Good block from Pelicano, and Brown rolls down inside to the 15-yard line. 8:48 to go in this third quarter.
And it's just fun to watch Ronnie Brown run the ball because he tries to milk every inch out of every carry that he gets. He's hitting the circle button. He's hitting the triangle button. He's getting everything he can out of each and every run.
2nd down and 6 for Shepherd. Bagent with Brown in the backfield. Tyson looks toward the end zone for
how is that
Dorsey and incomplete.
That's a defenseless receiver. How is that not a penalty?
Yeah,
so I understand that it may not be pass interference if the ball's not catchable, but that should have been a hit on the defenseless receiver right there. That's uncalled for.
Yeah, no call there intended for Dorsey, and Kenny Edlin was also in the area for Shepherd.
I see Coach McCook. Coach McCook is over there giving his official an earful, and he's absolutely well within his right to do so. You're already super thin at wide receiver. You can't afford your guys going out there taking hits like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. 3rd down and 6 here. Bagent throwing toward the end zone. And it's incomplete. It looked like Darryl Harper had an unbelievable touchdown catch, but they're going to rule it incomplete.
May have been Taylor was able just to push him towards the sidelines just enough. The savvy defensive back, using what defensive backs use all the time, being resourceful. You want to try to work that sideline. You want to push that wide receiver. So, again, you got a young wide receiver not knowing where he should cheat inside a little bit, give his quarterback a little bit of space to work with on that sideline, and Taylor just able to push him out the rest of the way.
Bagent on 4th down and about 6. Tyson takes the snap. 3-step drop, steps up in the pocket, rolls to the right of Villains, a sack, throws to the end zone, touchdown! Ronnie Brown! Oh, just give him the Harlan Hill! That was ridiculous. 3-step drop.
The things we talk about, that he's been able to show that athleticism all season long, that time using that mobility to extend the play. Ronnie Brown just showing that high football IQ, not giving up on the play, able to find the empty space in the zone. Tyson Bagent able to deliver a pinpoint pass. Ronnie Brown catches the ball on the goal line. Little juke on the defender. He's standing in the end zone untouched to give the Rams a 34-7 lead here in the third quarter.
Jacob Haney on to attempt the point after. This will make it 35-7 Shepherd, and the kick is good. 30-second break. I don't think anybody saw this. 35-7 Shepherd, 8:03 to go in this third quarter. We're back after this break.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions, with exclusive access.
This is your ticket to the NCAA tournament.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
We welcome you back here to IUP. Shepherd leading 35-7 with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. 35-7 Shepherd, 8:03 to go in the third. Rams cruising to a victory, and this is just a rout, Travis. I don't think anybody saw this coming. You know, even with the weather not being a factor this time around, and I thought Shepherd overall was probably the better team, as Taylor will take this one in on the kickoff. And you felt like Shepherd was probably the better overall team, but you still expected a good football game today, and this has just not been close. It's just been all Shepherd pretty much since 7-0 IUP.
Because you look at the strengths of the IUP team, they were things that really gave Shepherd trouble throughout the course of the season. So you figured that it was a good matchup. Styles make fights, and you figured that what IUP does well really gives Shepherd trouble. But that has not been the case today. Shepherd has come out looking for revenge, and IUP looks shook going into halftime, and they've come out in the second half, and they haven't made me change my mind about that. Shepherd Rams right now rolling over IUP.
Really stacked up there, and Nelia Pena's had a great game on the edge for the Rams. Another guy stepping up with no Dwayne Grantham in the lineup. Bagent has thrown 4 touchdowns today. Ronnie Brown with 2, 1 receiving, 1 rushing.
And Pena listed at 5'11", 180 pounds, but he packs a wallet when he comes up on run support.
Yeah, I mean, he's that kind of safety linebacker hybrid that we've seen so popular now in college and professional football. Second down and 8, Sexton play action. Under pressure, throws it in the flat. Hauser is wide open. He's got a lot of room to run. Hauser has the first down and more. Flag comes flying in, so that will take this away as Adam Hauser trots onto the track, then slips down. Hopefully he's all right. Running on the track with cleats is never super fun, but this holding call will bring things back.
And it looks like it was pretty far downfield. So
it should still be a first down,
yeah.
I believe, but we'll take away them getting into Shepherd territory for IUP.
And I don't even know if that was a design screen that time for IUP. It just looked like Shepherd was able to get a lot of pressure, and Hauser, just being a smart football player, was able to leak out into space and make something happen after the catch. Unfortunate for IUP that you pick up a big play like that and it gets called back due to a holding penalty, but like you said, still going to move the chains, and one of the few big plays that IUP has had today.
Yeah, one of those times when holding, it still matters because it takes away, several yards.
And a little bit of the momentum.
You still get the first down,
Yeah.
and you're still moving the football. But IUP obviously needing to go quickly, down 35-7 for just over 7 minutes to go in this third quarter. They'll fake it to Younger and throw to Brown and incomplete. Clayton Madden and Harrison have really done an excellent job on the Harlan Hill nominee, Dwayne Brown.
Other than that 38-yard catch that Brown had early on in the game, Batten has just been in his hip pocket all day long. They're hand fighting, they're getting after it, and the referees are letting them play football. But Batten was determined not to let Dwayne Brown steal his shine today.
Second down and 10 for IUP from the 42-yard line. Ridley and Brown, the receivers, to the near side. Sexton throws, incomplete. Intended for Hauser. He'll bring up third down.
And I think on that play, IUP really wanted to go to their tight end, Cole Laney. And the Rams denying him that off the jump. That time, Devin Lynch and Cowser bracketed Haney, making Sexton go to his second option on the play. And he missed on that, and now these 3rd and 10s are coming up fast and furious for this IUP offense.
3rd down and 10, 6:54 to go in this 3rd quarter. Sexton throws, intended for Ridley. No flags on the play. Clayton Batten with good coverage again, and it's 4th down.
I believe it was no flags on the play because it was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and that's the second time that Cowser's been able to get some pressure into the backfield, get his hand up, and knock that ball away.
So Kevin Cowser again able to get the pressure there, and he's playing a good big role. And one thing I've noticed, he started the year playing a lot of linebacker. Now you see him on the line a lot more. So a guy that's been able to use his versatility for Shepherd and give them a little bit more speed. Sometimes he's on the interior, but he's built more like an edge guy. And with Shepherd looking for defensive ends for next season because both of them graduate, you could see a role for Kevin Cowser off the edge. 4th down, we'll keep it here. Shepherd on top, 35-7, 6:50 to go in the 3rd. Still a lot of time here, Travis, but IUP running out of opportunities to make things interesting.
And again, not that anybody's built to come back from 28 points down, but just the style that this IUP offense prefers to use, just ball control, eating up clock. It's just it works against what your goal is, and that's trying to climb back into this game. You're going to need some big plays, but once you start trying to take those deep shots down the field, that's when you're going to see those edge rushers really start to impose their will. Haven't heard too much from Kyle Smith. We just saw Malik Holloway. He's made a play in pass coverage. He's getting pressure in the backfield. That last play, Cowser able to get into the backfield as well. So, again, when you start attacking downfield, that takes time. When you take time, that's going to give those defenders that much more time to get to the quarterback. And that's something that IUP's been able to do very well so far this year. Excellent job protecting the quarterback. They've given up less than 10 sacks all season long. That's absolutely incredible. But when you're able to control the ball and have the lead, you're able to do things like that, running those max protections and only sending out 2 wide receivers in a route. Now you're having to spread things out, use multiple wide receivers. You're going to have to sacrifice some protection, and that's when that Rams defense really begins to flex its muscles.
Here's the punt. And Shepherd will get away from it, let it bounce at the 31-yard line. And that's where the Rams will take over. And the way Shepherd's offense clicking, too, as of late, I mean, some of it's been short fields, but still, the Rams are really clicking offensively. Obviously, if they keep scoring, it's going to make it that even much more difficult to come back if you're IUP. So you need something to spark it if you're going to see any sort of comeback in this ballgame.
And again, this is a playoff game. You know this Rams ball club still feels that sting of losing that PSAC championship, so I see no reason for them to pull the pedal off the metal just yet going against this IUP defense.
And, yeah, I mean, you're playing the best team in your conference based off the regular season and the final result there, so you do not want to take them lightly. Here's Ronnie Brown. Good hold, gets out to about the 36-yard line. Ty Lucas leading the way for the Rams. Lucas, you know, you talk about Joey Fisher and his NFL potential. You look at Lucas, and they almost look the same in terms of size. Lucas is going to be a guy over these next couple of years that I think gets some looks. He's played a really big role there at right guard. 2nd down and 5 for the Rams, another Martinsburg product. Here's Ronnie Brown, and it's a big hole. Brown, 1st down more, makes a move, gets out of bounds over toward the 44-yard line, and a flag comes in at the end.
That's on Taylor, smacking the ball out of his hands. Probably going to call him for unsportsmanlike conduct. Good block on the backside by Dorner, just doing a good job of that hinge block, creating that crease. And Ronnie Brown does a good job putting his foot in the ground, cutting it back. And the Rams have had a lot of success overloading on the backside and just trusting their running back to make the proper read.
I think something always that's interesting about Ronnie Brown is the different celebrations. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, in the New Haven game, we had the Jordan Shrug. This week we've got the air guitar is now what Ronnie Brown's been going to whenever he's made a big play on these last couple of months.
Well, when he's getting the ball that much, you're playing his tune.
And, yeah, and if he's getting the ball a lot, Shepherd's usually in a good situation. Here's a throw over the middle to Cam Dorner in toward the red zone. First down, Shepherd.
See, and that's how you reward a wide receiver that blocks his butt off on the previous play. That previous play, Dorner did a good job of the hinge block, creating that gap for Ronnie Brown. So guess what, young man? We're going to reward you for that, doing the dirty work. Now we're going to get you a pass. The Rams using that RPO. They fake that power to the right side with McCook kicking out. The big offensive lineman loading up to the linebacker. Tyson pulls it and is able to throw it through a keyhole to get the ball to Dorner for the first down.
Brown is the back here on first down at 10. They'll fake it to Ronnie Brown, throw to Alfonso Foray, and Foray is tackled inside the 15-yard line after a short completion. You know, we're not going to probably highlight Foray and Dorner and Harper as players of the game type nominees today, but they're playing they're playing their role and they're stepping up in a game where, you know, if you would have told us at the beginning of the season that Shepherd would be down to these receivers, no offense to their ability, but just you would think they would be in trouble, but these guys have stepped up and played great. And I think that is a lot due to the coaching and the recruiting Shepherd has, that they're able to keep that balance as here's a first down run, or on second down, to make it first down and goal, and now IUP getting all the emotions out on the field, and Shepherd will get even better field position here for the first down and goal.
Before we get into the penalty, the Rams have essentially ran the same play 3 times in a row. And you saw Tyson Bagent and Ronnie Brown talking after that last play. And I'm sure Ronnie Brown was saying, hey, Tyson, you know the power is there. Give me the ball. And that time, Tyson does elect to give it off to his dynamic running back. And Ronnie Brown's able to pick up a big gain up the middle. And again, things are beginning to get a bit chippy. We thought it was going to be like that early on in today's game.
Unsportsmanlike going against IUP. That is on
Jay Holmes.
Yeah, Jay Holmes, who had made a big play earlier defensively, but now the penalty on him. So ball to the 2, and I think we'll see something similar to that power again here, Travis, with how well Shepherd's been running it on this drive. Dorner, the receiver, to the far side by himself. The Rams with Fisher in the game at tight end along with Walker. And they'll hand it to Ronnie Brown, and it's easy touchdown for Shepherd. And the Rams extend the lead to Shepherd 41, IUP 7. 4:25 to go in this third quarter. Ronnie Brown continues to do damage in the postseason and in this game. Jacob Haney on to attempt the point after.
Just when you have 2 players like that in your backfield, and Tyson Bagent and Ronnie Brown, I mean, what a luxury to have as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the probably best players to come through Shepherd, and Ronnie Brown still got another year to do even more great stuff for the Rams. Jacob Haney on to attempt the extra point. The kick is good. We'll keep it here just to talk a little bit more about this team. And Brown, I think, what's also crazy is he started last year as the 3rd-string running back.
And he earned his way onto the field. It wasn't like he was given this opportunity at the very beginning. He was a special teams player. He was a kick returner. He went down on kickoff return, and he consistently made plays on special teams. And that's something that you want your guys to do. It may not be the biggest role on the team, but if you give a guy an opportunity, you want to see that he's going to go out there and make the absolute most of it. And that's what Ronnie Brown's done. He's shown that he's a willing tackler on special teams. He's shown that he's a willing returner on special teams. Even on offense, he's shown that he's willing to chip those big defensive ends trying to rush and get upfield. So he's doing all of the small things that you really appreciate. And on top of that, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's absolutely electric.
42-7 Shepherd. And I think something to note, too, how important it was at times that Shepherd was able to see production from Blake Hartman along with Avon Holly, because having those other options, then you get to the playoffs, and Ronnie is still fresh despite leading the nation in all-purpose yards. he's still fresh enough that it doesn't necessarily feel like the 14th game of the season for him. He's still very healthy and ready to roll. Good return here out to about the 24. JT Komayao coming up and making the tackle for Shepherd on special teams.
And one thing that you always want to keep an eye on with running backs is how many carries that they're getting throughout the course of the season. So Ronnie Brown was able to put up the numbers that he was able to put up, not getting that many carries. Now you also want to factor in like pass catches and things of that nature. So yeah, and kickoff returns. So, I mean, he's gotten his touches, but they haven't been just grinding him into turf as far as just handing the ball off to him. Still has less than 200 carries on the season. So just a good job of management throughout the year. And like you said, a credit to the depth and the recruiting to have somebody like Blake Hartman and Avon Holly that can come in and spell him throughout the course of the year.
There's another big hit on the outside. That one coming from Keyshawn Haley. That might take over Anelia Pena's collision of the game. Oh, my goodness, Keyshawn. Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and 11, and Shepherd's just having fun in this one. I mean, just 42-7. It's all Rams.
And that's something that you want from your safeties. You have a bigger safety in Haley, 6'2", 200 pounds, and he's running the alley like a man on that last play, coming up and just delivering a booming hit on the running back.
Haley came over from Fairmont State. It's been a great acquisition for Shepherd the last few years. Now a high snap. Max Sexton dives on top of it around the 10-yard line. It's just amazing to me how things have just fallen apart for IUP since a 7-0 lead. And ever since then, nothing has gone their way, and they're just turning it over, having bad snaps on punts, having bad snaps on offense. 3rd down and 24 from your own 10-yard line with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Shepherd's fans have almost packed the away stands here at George P. Miller Stadium. On 3rd and 24, we'll see what IUP is able to do. Kyle Smith coming off the edge, gets maybe a finger on that one, and it's incomplete. Haven't called his name a lot today, but we know that Kyle Smith's one of the best players in the country.
Again, coming into today's game, having 13 sacks. So he is a guy that can get into the backfield and wreak havoc. And again, he can do it in a variety of ways. He doesn't have to get that sack to put that pressure on the quarterback. That time he's quick enough to get up in the air, and I'm sure he's probably kicking himself from that previous game where Sexton got him up in the air with that pump fake. Not today. Kyle Smith was able to jump up, knock that pass down, and again, Sexton 6'1", so batted passes sometimes are going to be a part of that trade-off when you have a quarterback of his stature.
Field the punt in their own end zone. Here's the punt. It's a short kick. Dorsey will let it roll inside the 45-yard line. Around the 41 is where Shepherd will take over.
And again, there's been a lot of trouble punting from that end zone going towards the scoreboard. The wind has not died down at all. So when that ball gets up in the air, it has just been hitting a wall. And what you try to do with that, you want to try to kick like a low line drive kick, but then you run the risk of out kicking your coverage if you want to try to get it down low and out of that wind.
Shepherd 42, IUP 7, 2:33 to go in the third quarter. Still a ton of time in this game, and I mean this one's not even as close as the Millersville game. Travis, would you have thought that?
Not at all.
Here's Ronnie Brown on the carry. But we talked about it. I mean, it seemed like Shepherd played one of its best games of the season a week ago against Slippery Rock, especially in that second half, where they were able to pull away. And maybe this team's just clicking at the right time here and playing its best football. Not that it hasn't all year at times, because, I mean, they were undefeated. So it's not like this team has lost games, but it just seems like they're playing even better at this point. Here's Ronnie Brown on the carry. Stilley gets a good block, and now Brown finds some positive yardage there, and everybody in Indiana once saw a piece of Ronnie Brown and Joey Fisher.
I don't think anybody wants a piece of Joey Fisher.
It's true.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
Maybe Joey Fisher wants a piece of everybody else. And they go after Ronnie Brown.
And the referee's just trying to keep things under control, realizing that the game is beginning to get out of hand and emotions are running high. And during my keys to the game, I was saying that Shepherd needed to play with some poise and not pick up some silly penalties, but they're calling it on Fisher. So Fisher running over to the sidelines to defend his running back over there in enemy territory. He's the one that draws the foul.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what went down there, but the officials calling it on Joey Fisher. The only thing I saw was Fisher put his hands in the air, which usually isn't a good sign.
Yes. Usually those hands were doing some dirty work whenever you put them up in the air like that.
They're down in 17. That's the I'm innocent look.
Yeah. It's like, when basketball players, when they get the foul and they want to take that was on me.
That's on me.
Yeah. Maybe that's what those raised hands are for.
Usually you do those if you're a basketball player to try to avoid your teammate getting a foul. Who's close. But Joey Fisher.
Ronnie Brown's usually on the edge.
3rd down and 17. Here's a screen pass for Kenny Edlin, and it could have been big for the Rams, but instead it gets it to 4th down and about 11 for the Rams, and we'll see how Shepherd elects to play at this point. And I think, they're going to punt. That makes sense. Try to flip the field, get it inside the 10, and continue your domination the way your defense is playing.
And that was a nice play design that time by the Shepherd Rams, showing screen to the front side to Ronnie Brown, and then Tyson Bajan coming back across the field to the tunnel screen on the backside to Edlin. And you need him to be able to make somebody miss and get into an alley. And that time, IUP, they do a good job of tackling in space, and that time they were able to get him down and force the punt.
IUP will take over around the 8-yard line is where they'll spot it officially with just under a minute to go. 44 seconds to be exact, 42-7. Shepherd leads IUP here on the road in this 3rd quarter. It was 7-0 IUP, and Shepherd answers with 42 points on the other end to build this commanding lead on a day where Tyson Bajan breaks the NCAA touchdown record for all 3 levels of Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3 football. A touchdown pass to Brian Walker in the 2nd quarter. I think he might have had a Harlan Hill type moment earlier as well, and going on the road to IUP and essentially canceling out your loss from earlier in the season. There's going to be a good chance for number 2 to get another one, which would be the first time since Danny Woodhead won the award back-to-back years, former NFL running back.
Woodhead able to earn a spot on that New England Patriots roster.
Played for the Chargers as well.
Yes. And you find very talented players at this level of football, and you see why those NFL teams, they tend to cherry pick these guys. Why not? Talent is available. They're good, and they can help your football team. Bring them in.
Final 10 seconds here this 3rd quarter. We can talk maybe more about the futures of some of these players, but we're headed to the 4th. Our score, Shepherd 42, IUP 7. We'll take a 30-second break. When we return, we'll have more Shepherd Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
I picked Shepherd University because I'm not just a number.
One of the things that surprised me is how friendly everyone is.
I like being able to walk down the street and have the professors recognize me by name.
I'm constantly learning.
But it also has taught me so much about myself and about what I want to do with my future.
The location at Shepherd is amazing.
Cities like Washington, D.C., Baltimore are only about an hour and a half away.
You just got to see it. Once you see it, it just takes your heart.
We welcome you back to George P. Miller Stadium on the campus of Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Nick Verzolini alongside me is Travis Smith. Our score, Shepherd 42, IUP 7 as we begin this 4th quarter. This is a regional championship game, but Shepherd's made it look like a PSAC beatdown that they are used to having. and the Rams have just dominated since going down early 7-0. Max Sexton in the shotgun formation on a 2nd down and 7 to begin this 4th quarter. The Rams will run Hauser off the left side, and Hauser finds a hole eventually there before he's tackled by Farmer. Be 3rd down and about 2 for IUP.
And now this Rams unit, you can see, particularly on defense, able to rotate that defensive line effectively throughout today, keeping those guys fresh up front. You knew you were going to be facing a tough running attack today. You don't want your guys getting worn down, so good job of the Rams keeping those guys fresh up front, and they've just dominated the trenches offensively.
The pass intercepted by Howard. Donnell Howard has it inside the 10. He takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Shepherd. Correction, that's Clayton Bannon who jumped the route, and the Rams extend the lead to 49. The pass intercepted.
Gave up one play early on, and it has absolutely just lit a fire under him all day. He has just been playing like a man possessed, and that time not to be denied. He just snatches the ball away from the offensive player and runs it into the end zone, and this Rams team is rolling.
I mean, that just secures this game. I mean, it's already over at 42-7, it feels like, in the 4th quarter, but the way that pick just happened, it just puts us like another big score on the day for Shepherd. Haney on to attempt the point after it's no good. 48-7, 14-12 to go in the 4th quarter. What a job by Clayton Badden to jump that route and just an unbelievable play. It's been a tough day for Max Sexton and this offense, who didn't turn it over when these teams faced in the rain, and you would think, with clear conditions they wouldn't, but a fumble and a pair of interceptions.
Again, the defenders are just doing an outstanding job of playing the ball. And the wind, it was at Sexton's back, so that shouldn't have been an issue in RPO action. That they've hit that a couple times. Ridley got one earlier. They had success doing it with Diebner as well. That big play that Dwayne Brown had early on was off of that RPO action, and we talked about those adjustments, and you can see that Rams coaching staff really hit the film for today's game, because those Ram defenders have been in position all day long today.
So Badden with the pick 6. Shepherd on top 48-7 with just over 14 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. IUP.
Just no answers.
Yeah, just really, I mean, nobody, I think, saw this coming, but Shepherd has just dominated. It's just been great execution by the Rams. Even without the 3 turnovers, I'm not sure if this one would be close at this point in the game. Here's one kicked on the ground by Haney. And think about the 37-yard line. Nearly Pena hyped up.
Hey, we thought that there could have been storms in the forecast. We didn't know it was going to come by way of the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, we had that rain in pregame. And that was just ridiculous. I mean, it was just pouring. It was
raining sideways.
Yeah, I mean, the wind was blowing hard. The wind is still blowing hard.
I mean, it was looking like it was going to shape up very much like that PSAC championship. Yeah, it was going to be worse.
It's going to be like the Millersville game last year, but
that's a game where I lost all my papers.
Yeah, so did I.
The wind just came and snatched them right out of my hands.
And here's Younger. And on the stretch play, he's met by Devin Lynch on the tackle. Lynch has played great, a pick, a fumble recovery as well. You have him and of course, Grantham going down with that injury in last week's game. But the defense has just stepped up. It's almost been like you didn't lose Dwayne Grantham, and I think Shepherd has done a great job with working on its defensive depth and their overall lineup to have more guys that can make big plays for them defensively this year. 2nd down and 6 for the Crimson Hawks. We'll go Younger again, and he doesn't find much room. Third down.
Lynch has just come up huge for the Rams today.
I mean, it's been a great outing for Devin Lynch. Third down here in 3. 12:55 to go in this fourth quarter. Shepherd leads it 48-7 over IUP. Pick 6 by Clayton Batten extends the lead. Younger remains the back. Will send receiver in motion. They'll fake it to Younger. Throw it to Dwayne Brown. A big catch over the middle. First down, IUP. That time he gets the better of Batten, but that has not been the case for the majority of the day, Travis.
Not at all. Batten, after giving up, he gave up a big pass early on. Like we said, that just lit a fire under him because he's been fighting tooth and nail with Dwayne Brown over there. Hasn't given up much, and the way he's played today, he'll give him 1 or 2 of those because he can look at that scoreboard and feel pretty good about what the Rams are able to accomplish.
Well, that's not back-to-back years that Clayton Batten has a pick 6 in the regional championship game. He had one against Kutztown a year ago, gets one here today. Had one against Kutztown earlier this season. Lynch again on the tackle, Younger on the carry. Bring up second down and medium for IUP. Second down 6. Devin Lynch has played phenomenal for this Rams defense. Comeyao, one of those other guys that's played well. Kevin Kauser.
But Kauser, you know, they rotated him in early in the year, and he showed flashes early on in the year. And as he's been able to get more and more time on the field, he's made the most of those opportunities.
They're Hauser back in the game, and Comeyao trips him up before he's brought down after a 2-yard pickup. Third down and about 4 for IUP. The Rams bring in Muley onto that D-line. 11 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. IUP trying to make some sort of comeback or at least make things somewhat competitive here, but Shepherd has just dominated this one since it saw IUP go up 7-0, and most likely the Rams are on to the semifinals. We will see how things ends up. There's Adam Hauser getting a short gain on the play. Nathan Muley making the tackle along with Holloway.
Was in on the action.
Fourth down and about 3. Grant Smith going to run on along with Younger for IUP. Hauser and Ridley check out. Sexton comes over from the sideline with the play.
Talking a little bit more about Batten coming into today's game. Well, now his total is up to 4 interceptions on the season. He was named 2022 PSAC East second teamer, and he's shown why he got that individual honor today.
Fourth down and 3. Play action pass. Wide open is the fullback, Sulman, and he is down inside the 10-yard line before he goes out of bounds. So big play of the fullback makes it first down and goal.
Sulman has made several plays today.
Yeah.
He's a good fullback, but at this point in the game, the fullback really can't have but so much of an impact.
He's the least of your concerns.
Yes.
Well, we're so disrespectful to fullbacks. I was going to keep going, but I don't want to roast the fullback. They're important. They're underrated.
I like fullbacks, but in this situation, it's only so much a fullback can do for you.
Yeah, first down and goal here, 9:15 to go. They'll fake it. Sexton is swallowed up in the backfield. Great job by Amari Terry along with Malik Holloway. Now a flag comes in late. So this will remain first down and goal.
I mean, you don't want your guys to get a personal foul. Well, they might have been piling on a little bit that play.
Yeah, hearing from the coaches, it looked like maybe Journey Dunbar came in late.
Yeah, that's the last dude you want piling in on top of you, talking about adding insult to injury.
Especially when it's a quarterback.
Yeah.
48-7 Shepherd, 9 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. The Rams are moments away from capturing back-to-back Super Region 1 championships against IUP, who's been one of the best programs in Super Region 1 traditionally. Max Sexton in the shotgun formation. Man goes in motion. They'll hand it off with the sweep, and a good job by Shepard. There's coming out in on that tackle for the Rams. Looks like Ben Darsky in there as well. Benarski, I should say.
Yeah. And that's a tough play to stop down on the goal line. It doesn't seem like a play that's designed to get to the outside will be that effective. But when you're able to use that jet sweep, especially in those short yardage situations, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense to make that solo tackle, because what you want to do is stretch that defense from sideline to sideline, and you have that speedy ball carrier with an option to kind of put his foot in the ground and pick a lane to turn it up. But the Rams defense was Johnny on the spot.
Dwayne Brown looked like he pushed off, but no penalty flag comes in. Touchdown IUP, though, nonetheless, to make it 48-13.
And Brown just doing a good job of kind of framing that catch. Didn't get too close to the sidelines. He gave his quarterback a little bit of room to work with. And let's be honest, he did give Batten the business a little bit on that one, pushing off, creating a little bit of separation to get that pass. But again, it's not going to change the outcome of the game. And Dwayne Brown, when you've had the career that he's had, you're going to get a couple of those calls.
Yeah, I guess so. Bad snap on the PAT, and Shepard will get one back.
And Batten, the man again.
Yeah, Clayton Batten, another good play, and essentially you get one back after missing the PAT yourself. So 48-13, 7:55 to go in the fourth. We'll take a 30-second break.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Shepard in control of this one, 48-13, 7:55 to go in the fourth quarter. The Rams will turn this kickoff. 48-13 our score, and again, Shepard looking to advance to the semifinals based on how the other regions have gone down. Everyone has gone chalk except for, I believe it's Region 3. I want to say, or maybe Region 4 it could be, but Wingate and West Florida are battling out in one of the regions, and both of those teams were the 3, and then Wingate was not seeded, so they were like the 7 seed, but they've gone on a run. So those teams are playing right now. You would think that maybe Shepard would get the 3 seed as Ronnie will fair catch it. That will bring it out to the 25, but you would figure that would be the case, that maybe Shepard can get the 3, because typically Region 1 doesn't get the 4, or typically gets the 4. But in a year where there's some upsets, maybe the Rams would get the 3 and either host, or I'm sorry, still travel, but would travel to the 2 seed. But we'll have to wait and see. You never know. Maybe the Rams get some more respect this year and end up getting a 2 or a 1. That would be awesome for Shepard, but.
And putting up a big number like this can help you towards that effort.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see what kind of happens in these other games. Ferris State's taking on Grand Valley State, so, I mean, the winner of that game is going to be the 1, I would think.
Yeah. I think Grand Valley State, they're undefeated, and they, looking at their strength of schedule, was ridiculous this year. So if they're able to pull that one out against Ferris State, I think they've cemented that 1 seed.
And same thing for Ferris State on the other side. I mean, both of those programs traditionally powers in Division II. Grand Valley State's had several guys go on to have some success in the NFL. Brandon Carr, Matthew Judon, to name a couple. Yeah, I mean, Ferris State's had a few guys as well. So they were obviously dominant last year, winning the national championship. Second down and about 9, 7:15 to go in this fourth quarter. Rams are going to just kind of rolling out some clock. They'll keep it. They'll go to Ronnie Brown. Another big hole for Ronnie Brown. First down and more for the Ram back. Flag coming in from the sideline. Could be on Taylor here. Let's see. I think this will go
at
on
this
Taylor.
point, are we going to run the risk of somebody possibly getting ejected?
Yeah, you don't want to get bad penalties if you're Shepherd, and there's no real reason for Shepherd to, I guess, be frustrated or anything. You got to make sure that their frustration doesn't affect you. And you can essentially just say, hey, scoreboard, 48-13, we're up big. We don't need to do anything else.
And you see the coaches for IUP pulling. Yeah,
Taylor.
Yeah, you could tell the coaches are just trying to get him off to the sidelines, and his emotions have been boiling over. That young man is a competitor to his core, and this game has just gotten out of hand. And
yeah, I mean, you look at it from the IUP perspective, and you probably came in with a ton of confidence since you knocked off Shepherd earlier, even though it was a hard-fought game, and you know you were going up against a really good team. You at least felt like you were going to be in the game, and that just hasn't been the case.
You're coming in, looked like it was going to rain again. You're playing at home again. Like everything was lining up to be in their favor.
But instead, Ronnie Brown has done his thing all day against IUP. Takes it across the 40-yard line, inside the 40-yard line, I should say. And again, we have some chipping on both sides, and they're going to sub 4 out. He seems to be involved in a lot of that, so Shepherd wanting to make sure that they don't get any of those penalties. They'll bring Harper on, the freshman.
And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if either one of the coaching staffs would call a timeout and just try to rally the troops on the sideline and just kind of reiterate what you're playing for. And you don't want something where you're either going to have a suspension leaking into next season to IUP if you lose, or the Rams advancing. You don't want to lose anybody, certainly don't want to lose anybody to suspension.
Ronnie Brown tries to get to the edge. He's going to be tackled, I think, about a yard short of the first down. Under 6 minutes to go in this one. Shepherd 48, IUP 13. Third down and 1 for the Rams, as they're taking that play clock all the way down to the final.
Being a champion takes more than talent.
Try to run this one out and get the win for Shepherd.
And that was big Gregory Moore in on the tackle.
5:24 to go in this one and counting. Third down and 1 for the Rams. Bajan in the pistol with McCook, the lead back. They'll go to Ronnie Brown. He has the first down before he is driven into the ground by the IUP defense. So another first down for Shepherd.
And that's one of the things that a veteran running back can give you, is patience in the run game. That time, you don't want to run smack into the back of your offensive lineman. I tell you, the offensive linemen, they don't like that. So what you do is that you're slowing it down a little bit to let those big guys up front do all the dirty work. Then once you see that lane open up, you're right there in position to get through the hole. You pick up the first down, and Ronnie Brown gets a bit of a curtain call as he trots off to the sideline and after picking up the first down for the Rams offense.
Yeah, and you love that, too, his quarterback, Tyson Bajan, being the one kind of leading that curtain call as they go to Avon Holly here, and this has been kind of Avon's job this year to really grind it out and finish things. And Bajan kind of led it by telling the crowd, hey, give him a cheer. I mean, he played great.
He's absolutely earned it.
And especially because you go back to that last game in the PSAC championship where, you know, Ronnie didn't get a lot of touches, and you know that it's an RPO offense, so you know Bajan's kind of making the final call on a lot of those, and maybe that wasn't the right decision every time or whatever the case may be. But, you know, this team stuck together. They didn't fall apart after that game, and they're going to achieve another one of their goals, and that's win the region. Holly gets not a whole lot of room there. Up the middle will be third down. 3:40 to go in this fourth quarter. Shepherd cruising over IUP. Scored 48 unanswered points before IUP finally answers with a touchdown here late to make it 48-13 after the Crimson Hawks took their opening drive down the field to take the early 7-0 lead. So third down and 8. Holly is the back here. Dorner and Rodney Dorsey, the receivers to the near side. Harper to the far. Walker, the tight end. We'll see what Shepherd draws up here on 3rd down with 3:10 to go. Bagent will throw. Thought that might be the case. They'll run a screen pass, and Dorsey is stopped. Big hit on that one by Bruce. We didn't call his name a lot today. Bruce, though, made some big plays in that championship game.
Fortunate for Dorsey to hop up quickly that time. That was an awkward tackle that could have had an ugly result.
Yeah, and Shepherd's already down. It's top 2 wide receivers, and Marlon Cook and Ryan Beach. We've talked about that a lot today, you know.
And you see Dorsey coming off the sideline. You've done enough today.
Yeah, has a touchdown.
Yeah, don't need you to get rolled up on any type of fluke play here late in the game. We're certainly going to need you next week.
So Shepherd will most likely take the delay game here, or maybe call a timeout, but I think they're going to just take the delay and then run the punt unit on. With 2:19 to go, they can punt it away to IUP, kind of see them run things out a little bit, but at this point, both teams know it's all but over. And with the punt, too, the delay game here, I guess I should say, you get a little bit more room for your punter, Ryan Barrick.
And Barrick has had his struggles today.
Yeah.
So maybe he can kind of.
Did have that one good punt, though, inside the 10 earlier. So we'll see what he can do this time. Not a bad punt. We'll be feeling around the 16-yard line. That's where IUP will take over.
I mean, he's kicking it into the wind, but his punts have been kind of funky today.
Well, he doesn't get a whole lot of practice.
That is true.
He doesn't get a lot of game experience.
Yeah, that is true. He is kind of like the Maytag repairman. Like he doesn't have to do much work with his offense able to put up points the way that they do.
48-13, IUP about to drop just their 2nd game of the year. (48-13) Shepherd, 2:13 to go. Sexton in the offense back on the field. Brown goes in motion from right to left. They will run Younger, and he is brought down on the play. Coming over and making the tackles, McDowell. There's a lot of subs in the game for Shepherd with the score being the way it is, and the Rams obviously wanting to avoid injuries when they can. And again, Devin Lynch, we talked about it a few times this year. When the game is out of hand, number 1 is always out there. He is the leader of that defense. He calls the plays, and he makes a lot of plays, and he's had a great game. If we didn't have Tyson Bagent at quarterback today, I think we would be looking at maybe a player of the game.
Yeah, you just
don't want to spoil it for the post game.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I agree with you 100% on that one. He's played a whale of a game today.
Just came up and made another big tackle on that one. That will bring up a 3rd down, and it might have fell incomplete, actually.
And just you have to credit that Rams coaching staff, the way that they're able to go out and recruit these type of players, the type of depth that they're able to recruit. Not only that, they're developing these young players. So when they're going out there and they're getting these big leads in games and they're rotating those young guys in, that's why you rotate those young guys in early on in the season, because you want to develop that depth, you want to develop that confidence, so when you do need them down the stretch, they have those reps under their belt. It's not going to be too big for them, and you can really rely on them to make some big plays for you in big situations down the stretch of the season.
They'll run the ball again with Younger. He's pushed down of bounds by JT Comayao. Final 35 seconds of this one.
And Comayau's had quite a game today.
Yeah, really impressive freshman. You know, Coach McCook actually highlighted him in the preseason press conference. And anytime that happens, I'm always like, okay, well, I should probably keep an eye out for this guy. And eventually it's happened here at Comayau. He's gotten a little bit of experience in those big wins Shepherd had earlier in the year, like over Lockhaven and stuff like that. And when you have that, you know, when you have those type of games and you're able to get those guys this experience, you see that play big in an actual important game in important situations. 48-13, final 25 seconds rolling off the clock. Sexton hands it off to Younger. And on the final play of the game, Shepherd gets the stop. Naeem Alexander with a big hit to end it. And the final.
That's all he does, big hits.
And the final few seconds roll off the clock. Shepherd is headed back to the semifinals. It's back-to-back Region 1 champions for the Shepherd University Rams. On to the Final Four. They get revenge after the PSAC championship loss to IUP. Shepherd with the final score, 48-13 over IUP. A shocker in terms of the final. And what a game, Travis, between these two teams in the PSAC championship. It was a close game, but Shepherd just dominating today and a very unexpected finish.
Shepherd just punched them in the mouth. Yeah. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. They just beat them up in the trenches, offense, defense, used that run game. Now things are getting a bit chippy down.
Hopefully nobody punches anybody in the mouth here.
Yes, I mean that figuratively. But things got kind of chippy there towards the end of the PSAC, and Rams letting them know that sometimes revenge is a dish best served cold. And right now the Rams are on the rampage here in the second half. They're able to avenge a 2019 loss versus Slippery Rock last week. They come out here this week able to avenge the PSAC championship loss to IUP by pasting the Crimson Hawks 48-13. So the Rams right now riding high, and they deserve it. Just a complete performance today, offense and defense, and this is the Rams team that we were expecting to see at the beginning of the year, and they're showing up at the right time.
It's similar to last year's playoff run. Last year they had to do that to Findlay, who had beat them previously in the postseason, I do believe. Beat Notre Dame, who, of course, I mean, that's an MAC rival of old, and then beat Kutztown, who beat you earlier in the regular season. It's very similar in that sense. Not as dramatic. Shepherd didn't have the Hail Marys the last second wins, but a win is a win, and a great one today for the Rams, 48-13. We'll take a 2-minute break. On the other side of that break, we'll have the post-game show. This is Shepherd University Rams football on TV10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA consent is prohibited.